not going to say our Twitters, but I'm Jared Hood. That's Dwight.
He's right.
You can find us on Facebook, JD Sports Show.
Yep.
YouTube, SoundCloud. Look for us. Like, share, tell your friends. I know you're not doing that.
Why you gotta be petty? But you right.
Well, Dwight,
leave a like, leave a comment, leave a share. Like,
if you're watching this,
do it, something. Let us know. Let us know you watching.
Text your friend. Tell them to watch it.
I'd appreciate that. You'd appreciate that.
You know they're not going to, but if you're watching it already, at minimum, just pull your phone out, text your friend.
Right.
Anyway, or if you're listening, shout out to the listeners on SoundCloud. That's how I usually intake the show. On the listen back after Dwight gets it up for us, the producer. Shout out to the producer.
I appreciate that. Actually, on SoundCloud, that WrestleMania show, the one we did the predictions on,
yeah,
it was our most listened to. I don't know. I mean,
it was fantastic.
It could have been all you or whoever, but it was.
Oh,
it was our highest.
I only listened to it once, so.
It was our highest total ever. So
that's awesome. Well, it was.
And we got some comment on it, but
we've had very, very good shows overall lately, so that's a good thing. Last year or two, I would say, to keep that going, because what we are good at is talking sports. We're going to talk about. I see you have a jersey on. We're definitely going to get into the Dez Bryant Dallas Cowboys situation. We're talking about the Sixers, the rest of the NBA. There's a kickoff rule in college I want to get into. I don't know if Dwight heard about it. So retirements in the NFL. I have a question about the WWE. I don't know if Dwight wants to get into it this week or if he wants to tease it for another time.
Let's go with it.
We'll talk a little bit NHL.
Wrestling fans love us, bro.
There's no time to fit in baseball, even though
there's no relevant time.
The equivalent of one football game into the season, so 1/16 into the baseball season, the Phillies are technically in a playoff position, Dwight.
Okay.
Talk about things that are relevant and that matters at the moment.
To everybody.
Some playoff basketball?
Sure.
So, I mean, I would assume we're just going to start off with the Sixers, my favorite team, yeah?
I guess.
Okay, cool. Sixers, Heat, have you been watching the series? Did you get to watch Game 1 and 2?
I watched moments of all the games. I don't think, well, no, I didn't watch that whole game. I didn't watch a single whole game out of any of them. Okay. I saw parts of most of them.
Game 1 was dominated by the Sixers. They came out hot. Well, they didn't come out hot, actually. It was about the middle of the third quarter. They got super hot and then just kind of lit them up, and by the early fourth quarter, you could kind of see where it was going. Second game, the Sixers fell behind. It got really physical. Dwayne Wade had a way back game.
Was that Flash?
Sure that was Flash. Man, and
that was Flash.
And it wasn't like he was getting to the rim and doing this high flying stuff. He was pulling out the bag of tricks. And he's always had that great pump fake. But in his later years, he's had to rely on it more. So he's had to use it at the right times, and he got to use it back to back in that game on J.J. Redick was the second time, and he drew foul on it.
J.J. Redick is not checking him.
No, he is not. And so here's how I look at it. The first game, the Sixers dominated. I don't know if they're ever they set a record for threes for a franchise in the franchise record. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that happening again in the series where they're going to go off for 18 threes in a game. You know what I mean?
I'm laughing because I'm like, well, how many playoff games have they had? So, whatever.
Oh, well, okay. My point is the rest of the series, they're not going off for 18. If they go off for 15 in another game, I would be shocked. You know what I mean? So the chances of them going off for 18, winning another game by 30, I don't see that happening. On the other end, it did feel like Game 2 was
the reality.
The Heat's best shot. I don't know if... I said going before the series, we didn't get to talk about it, sadly, on this show, but I was talking to my friend before the series. The biggest thing I'm afraid of is in the playoffs 2 years ago with Chicago, Dwayne Wade had moments where he was old Dwayne Wade. He was like saving it for the playoffs. I was expecting a little bit of that, but I do expect that to be his best punch. You know what I mean? You can't play better than he did in Game 2. So I look at it from the Sixers' perspective. You can't imagine he's having 3 more games like that.
Why not?
Because that's about as good as he's gonna. He only missed what 2 shots in the entire game. That's crazy to think. In 20 plus minutes, he hasn't played 20 plus minutes in about 2.5 years. So what I do, what I will be interested to see in Game 3 is how many minutes does he play and if he can hold that up. Also, the biggest looming thing for the Sixers would have to be outside of they were just missing shots. I mean, J.J. Redick, Covington, Ilyasova. I don't see them all.
They were getting exposed for what I feel like they actually are.
Well, through that 16-game winning streak, though, I'm not saying all of them were good. It was one or another. It wasn't all of them like in Game 1, it was all of them going off at the same time. But through that 16-game winning streak, it was one night it was Covington, one night it was Ilyasova, one night it was J.J. Redick, one night it was, and Ben Simmons was the consistent player, which in Game 2, in the loss, Ben Simmons was still the only consistent player in the game.
That's great.
For the Sixers. For the Sixers. Obviously not for the Heat.
I'm so glad you brought the 16-game winning streak because, like you said, we really didn't get a chance to talk about it, especially heading into Game 1. And then Game 1 happened. Right. And then Game 1 happened and then they won by 30. And I was like, okay, so whatever.
And even after Game 1, I wasn't expecting it to just be a 4-game sweep. Then they were just going to run through them because they won by 30. Like I said, that's the 18 threes in a game is an anomaly. I think 12 of them were in the second half.
Well, that's fine, but that whole 16-game win streak or 50, whatever the hell it was, that's cute, that's adorable. But and the hype going into this series, especially for the 76ers, not even just their fan base, but in general, just the overall talk about them, I was just kind of shrugging it off. I was like, okay, yeah, they won that amount, and that's impressive. That's good. That's a good way to get into the playoffs.
It's a very hard thing to do. So it was
congratulations, Mazel. But I was just like, well, 2 things. One, it means absolutely nothing because, as we've said year after year after year, once the playoff hit, it's a completely different animal. And no matter, you want to go in with momentum, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's irrelevant. It's so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant that they had a 16-game win streak. Mazel. You did it. Great. Nobody expected that. But it meant absolutely nothing. And the other thing, and this is why I also shrugged off Game 1 personally. I was like, okay, yeah, they won by 30. It's impressive. It's, all the above. But I don't think the Heat showed up. 1, 2, especially with that matchup with the Heat, I was more so looking at one team has a handful of players that have that experience. You got the 76ers that's relatively young. You got like 2 players who've had playoff experience, blah, 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 whatever. But relatively speaking, that's a young team. They're not prepared for this moment. They're not prepared for the atmosphere. They're not prepared for this grind that is coming their way. And I think by Game 2, but Game 1, they were riding on that high of their 16 games. I think by Game 2, it clicked back over where it was like, you know what, no, this is the playoffs, and now you got a playoff experienced team that adjusted and did what they had to do to get the W. And I think that's going to be the case moving forward. I don't know if the Heat necessarily win the series.
I was going to say, I do expect this.
It's going to be much tighter than that. Blowout in one game.
Agreed.
And I don't think the 76ers are as good as their 3 seed says they are. Or are they your 2nd seed?
They're the 3 seed.
I don't think they're a 3 seed.
I'll go on.
I don't think they're as good as their seeding is. I'd say 4 or 5. I'd say 5. Maybe 4. I'll give you 4. 3's a little.
But who are the just wondering who are the teams you rank ahead of them because they have the Raptors, Celtics. Who would you put ahead of them?
Well, Celtics should even be there.
All right, so who would you have? Raptors, Cavs. And the Celtics just shouldn't be there because of injury, or else the Celtics would be there.
Right.
I even think the Celtics would be honestly, I think the Celtics would be the team coming out of the East most likely if Kyrie and Gordon Hayward were healthy.
Right, and neither of that's happening. So I don't.
That's why I think it's going to be the Sixers before the Cavs coming out. Because they fell into a good circumstance.
They're a 3 seed by default because there's nothing else.
Is
it a good thing?
On top of they came together, they signed 2 players that have made them lethal off the bench because what has made the Raptors so good this year? They have legitimately 5 players that can come off the bench. The Sixers signed 2 players in January? I think it was Ilyasova. It was signed in January. So they signed 2 players in January that are coming off their bench and that are making a big difference. Now,
I also just don't think they have a go-to player.
Well, that's the thing.
Who is the go-to when it's like, okay?
Well, that's the thing. When Embiid comes back, that's who you're looking for.
Sure. I guess I'm not necessarily. Okay, I asked that question, but I guess I'm just more so looking for that veteran. Okay, it's the playoffs. Go to you.
So I'll give you. There's no veteran.
That's more so where I'm going.
When we're talking about veterans, outside of Dwayne Wade, who on the Heat though has really much playoff experience? Kelly Olynyk has played in what, 2 playoff series?
Oh, I have no clue.
Because he was with the Celtics.
Dragic was in the playoffs last year.
Okay, so Dragic, Kelly Olynyk, because Kelly Olynyk was with the Celtics the last couple years, and he was in the playoffs. Remember, he hurt Kevin Love a couple years ago, but then last year he was in. They were, I think they made it through 2 rounds. So he's played in a couple rounds. So
Whiteside was in the playoffs last year.
But did they lose first round?
I mean, I don't remember exactly, but even if they did, that's kind of
it's
all about the experience.
It's more experience. Right. I'm just asking. I'm just wondering. I don't know how much. But my thing, so I'm
There's
looking at it.
There's experience there.
For
Plus,
sure.
The head coach has experience. Their assistant coaches.
Well, Brett Brown
Howard's out
Brett
there.
Brown was an assistant. Brett Brown was an assistant on the Spurs for about 15 years. Okay, he went through some championships.
He has the most experience out of everybody on the 76ers.
I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that it's because it is much different being an assistant than it is being a head coach. But so I'm not saying it's the same thing. But at minimum, he's been through it.
He's the only one.
Yes. For sure.
Which I think is going to be a deterrent for that team.
I also don't think... Look,
even if they get past this round, I'm like,
Well, if they get past this round, they're playing either the Bucks or the Celtics, and that's why most people think they can beat the Bucks or the Celtics. The Celtics... I mean, if the Celtics...
sure, but that's not...
But the Celtics beat the Bucks in Game 1, now that doesn't mean that they're going to win the series, but I'm just saying... As a Sixers fan, yes, I'm not going to disagree. I'd rather not see the Greek Freak. If you're going to give me a team that plays pretty well versus a super good talent, I'm just going to try to beat the team that plays really well because the Sixers have Ben Simmons and hopefully Joel Embiid coming back, which are good talents, but they also play really well as a team outside of it, so you can kind of combine. Trying to stop the Greek Freak, I think, is going to be much harder. Do you know what I mean?
Nobody's checking him. Embiid's too slow.
That's going to be
Simmons is too small.
Right. Oh, I don't think Simmons would cover him. I think they would have to try to throw Embiid or Covington. Robert Covington is a very good defender. He's probably the best defender on the Sixers. I'm not saying he stops him. I'm just saying he's the best defender on the Sixers. When they play the Cavs, he covers LeBron. He at the end of the game,
does he stop LeBron?
Well, no.
Does he check him at least? Does he check him a little bit?
In the first half, he did, but LeBron scored 5 points in the second half of that game where they were down by 30 and almost came back. So, no, LeBron ended up with 40-plus points in that game. No.
So the answer's
no. And, and that's what I try to explain to people about, I do think, look, I'll be honest with you. I am, as a Sixers fan and the way they played as a team and the way they've been looking lately, I do think that they can fall into good luck by the Heat. I think they can beat the Heat, but then fall into good luck by playing Boston. Or I do think they can beat the Bucks. But playing Boston or the Bucks is honestly not playing the Raptors or the Cavs in the first 2 rounds is basically a golden ticket to get to the Eastern Conference Finals for any of these teams that get to the Eastern Conference Finals. So as a Sixers fan, I gotta be thinking realistically they do have a chance to win 2 rounds. I just think who checks LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals? Let's say they do win 2 rounds because everyone's saying they get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's so wild to me.
And my point, I'm not saying it happens.
I say they probably get 1.
I'm not saying it happens because I'm with you on the playoff. I'm with you on the playoff experience. I'm not saying it happens, but what I am saying is if it does happen, everyone's saying, well, then they have the opportunity. The Cavs are vulnerable, but I just keep saying, LeBron James is not getting covered by anybody on the Sixers. Even though I'm a Sixers fan through and through, I will hope and I'll be yelling Akron hates you the whole time if it happens.
The Cavs have way too much.
Agreed. I don't even know if it's the Cavs have way too much. It's just LeBron himself, I think, for any team in the East. Look, they lost Game 1. We'll get into the Cavs, but the Sixers alone, I just don't see how he could score 50 points in 7 games against them if he wants to.
Literally.
Which he has done against Golden State. He scored, 51 points, 3 straight games or something like that against Golden State, and then 42 the other games. So, and they have 4 All-Stars.
A lot better talent, yeah.
A lot more experienced talent.
Right, yeah, definitely.
So, as I said, look, I'm with you on I don't know because of experience how far the Sixers team can go. But what I do think is they fall into the best opportunity that they could have to get to the Eastern Conference Finals this particular year with Cleveland having the injuries they have and the Bucks being the other team. I mean, they have beaten the Bucks. Now, they didn't beat the Bucks at the end of the season the last time they played, but they can beat the Bucks.
Underachieved this year. They definitely underachieved.
And so the Sixers can absolutely take advantage of that, I think, in a 7-game series. Now, also, that depends on Embiid coming back.
There's the big extra.
Can we get into the Embiid conversation? Because I really want to talk about that.
I would love to. Because it's funny to me. It's absolutely hilarious to me. I know you're about to Probably defend some type of Philadelphia motive, but go ahead. That's fine, man. It's hilarious to me. Actually, I laughed so hard when I saw what he put out there.
I would like to know if the team is holding him back for this time because they think of long-term career injuries or what. Because I look at it this way.
Trust the process.
There's no way that at this point the team is holding him back unless he can act, unless they have a real reason.
Trust the process.
If he has cleared every protocol, I say let him go. Let's go. I mean, it is time to...
Trust the process.
He is the difference. He absolutely...
Trust the process.
And I feel bad for him because, as he said, he
Stop
promised...
fucking babying me. That's what the hell he said.
Well, he did say that, but he also said he promised the city a playoff run.
Might as well, good for him.
And I don't even get to... He's like, and I'm not even getting to be part of it. But look...
They're dogging him. They're dogging him.
So I look at it as...
you sound like somebody that doesn't trust this process right now. Triggered.
If you're telling me that this is going to hurt his career long term... No. I would ask them, keep going. What is the difference if he plays yesterday or today? Like, do you know what I mean? Why are you... If he got cleared 2 days ago, right? If he is medically cleared to play, then what is the difference if he played on Tuesday or if he plays on Friday? Because he got medically cleared on what? Sunday?
I don't know.
It was Sunday, and the game was Monday. He got cleared Sunday, game Monday. So they're talking about maybe...
he was going to miss game 1. I was like, okay. So
I heard he was going to miss the whole first round, and then they said maybe the first 2 games. And then they said...
On basis of what? Because we say so?
This was when the original injury happened. They said Embiid most likely out for the first round. But then what I read was Embiid most likely out for game 1. And then what I read was most likely out for game 1 and 2. And that was before the series started, right? So then...
This process sounds like it's failing.
In game 1, there is a viral video going around of him, Ben Simmons, asking him, going, game 3? And him saying, yeah, game 3.
That's not even what I was talking about. I saw him doing the fake James Harden when we did a step back. Did you see it?
Yeah, he was doing that before game 2. I was like, he
looks healthy to me.
He was doing that before game 2.
All right. Yeah, he was imitating James Harden. He
in
did like
game
a step
1,
back Jay, and I was like...
In game 1, Ben Simmons asked him game 3, and he said, yeah, I'm hoping game 3. And... So I was like, all right, so that sounds like game 3. But then I heard on Sunday, literally the day after I saw that little video, that he is cleared. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe he's playing game 2. But then they announced Monday he's not playing game 2. So I'm like, all right, why? If he's medically cleared to play, why is he not playing? So again, my question to them is, if he can play...
So the process is failing.
What's the difference if he plays Monday or if he plays Thursday? If they feel like...
we overachieved. We weren't supposed to be here. We already did what we were supposed to do.
But you're here, so it's time to go.
Bro, this is, you know what, I'm glad that you're saying this, because this is literally what I've been saying all year about the whole sitting him in general thing, I didn't understand. Like, okay, regular season, postseason, 2 different things.
I tell you championship or bust, and that's why I'm good right now.
Fine.
That's why I'm saying right now, you gotta go.
I'm with you on that. But my point was the whole season, like, he's been like that. Why you treat him this way? And now it is go time, and you're still doing it. Even worse, to the point that he's calling you out, saying, stop fucking, and I quote, stop, I'm tired of being fucking baby, or whatever he said.
Into white.
So why are they?
I'll even try to say this to you, like, as I'm trying to just logically. I'll try to separate myself as a Sixers fan. I look at this as
I laughed when I saw it.
Why would
That's exactly what I've been saying all year.
Because I said, let me separate myself as a Sixers fan. Why would any team hold their best or second best player out?
Our youngest player.
Their best or second best player, but definitely their most dominant defensive player. Without question, their most dominant defensive player.
This ain't Wade age. This ain't LeBron age.
Why would you sit him out for 1 extra game if you literally felt like he can go? So that's what I'm starting to think that maybe... I mean, look, I don't know. The Sixers doctors just felt like he couldn't go. Why? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in there.
Because trust the process. That's why. Because that nonsense. Meanwhile, you got the Spurs with Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker out here. Right. My point.
This isn't even... And look,
why?
It's a head injury, so I have a little bit of a caution. So I have a little bit of a caution because it's a head injury, but at the same time, he was medically cleared from the NBA standards.
It's a head injury. He messed up his face.
But
he didn't get like a concussion.
He did have a concussion, but he can clear the concussion protocol on Sunday. He cleared the concussion. He was cleared by the NBA to play.
So what's the problem?
That's what I'm saying. That's literally what I'm saying is...
You're not trusting it. Jericho's not trusting the process?
I'm not saying I don't trust it. I'm saying, look, Joel Embiid doesn't trust it, and I trust Joel Embiid.
So you don't trust the process?
I trust Joel Embiid, and he is the process. So yes,
and he's not trusting it.
I trust Joel the process Embiid.
I'm glad you clarified all that. It's funny. It's weird, man. It's just funky. I don't understand it. Like, to go back even to the previous point, like, now is this conference in general is just trash, but especially right now with a battered Boston situation.
They have a chance to take advantage and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's there. The doors are open.
Battered Boston situation. You got I just drew
Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks situation that underachieved this entire year.
They have a coach who switched in the middle of the year.
Situation, which the Raptors are.
But the Raptors are going to have to play the Cavaliers if they win.
Whatever. Raptors are like this, and it's funny because that's exactly how the series has gone up until this point, and exactly what I said last week about not trusting them. Anyway, we'll get to them. You got Cavaliers, which is maybe your only real legitimate threat, but still, they're older. We don't know. So then you got the field on that
even
side.
If you don't think
this is the time to go.
I'm a guy who
even if you said you've been saying, all right, make the playoffs. It's been a success this year. Okay, cool.
But you still got to take the shot.
Then why not go further? Why not go to a second round?
I'm not saying don't do that. Look, Dwayne, we're on the same page there.
If you go to the second round and get swept, you already overachieved according to what you're saying.
You have literally been. You are here a year early, so I'm not against. Cool. I'm with you. Oh, I am with you.
So why
I say go forward, not backwards on this one. Don't hold him back because you're a year early. Try to go as far as you can a year early. Set the standard right now. Set the standard right now of how far this team. Say this, Ben Simmons. You were never losing in the first round. You want to be LeBron James? That's how you do it.
You're not Carmelo. You're gonna get out the first round.
You feel me though? Like,
I'm just saying.
Just taking shots at my favorite non-Sixer.
But with that, you would get the experience that you will need for years to come.
Okay, so you might get out the first round?
Huh?
Okay, so you might get out the first round? No, we'll talk about it. I'm joking with you.
Anyway, he acts like that was a shot towards me. It wasn't. But you get that experience, and then here's the thing. In the offseason, though, if, let's say, hypothetically, you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you get swept. It doesn't matter. Let's say you got that
Even
far.
If, you're against
Guess what you're doing when you hit the offseason? You're getting free agents to go.
People are looking at you. No, you know who might be a free agent?
We got that young guy. We got that big mofo right there. He ain't no joke.
You know who might be a free agent?
A lot of people.
Kawhi Leonard, and there's a slot open at Kawhi Leonard's position on the Sixers floor.
Right. There's.
With J.J. Redick not... Look, he's on a one-year deal. So J.J. Redick being gone, you could slip Kawhi Leonard right in there. They play small. When they play very small, he runs where Kawhi Leonard would usually play. You could play Kawhi Leonard. You could run big then. You would have Embiid and him. Oh.
That's the thing, too. Now's
not saying that happens. He wants to be in L.A.
Well, allegedly. But now's the time to be on that stage because you're the 76ers. You're not nationally televised that often where people can see you. And now you're allowing not only the nation or the world, but you're allowing these free agents that are upcoming to see you. And if they see you ball out and go so far, they can say, you know what, I could be that piece for them to get even further. Why would you not just go?
On top of it, and I'm...
Stupid. It's stupid, but it's so Philadelphia 76ers to me, which is why I laugh so hard. And I'm so glad
about the national TV thing?
I'm so glad Embiid called him out. It was funny to me.
You were talking about the national TV thing? Mm-hmm. There's the Garden in the Staples Center. There's places that like it gets buzzing like when the game's going and it sounds like a prize fight. During game 1 when the Sixers got going, it sounded like a prize fight in the background. Like even when they weren't chanting, it was like buzzing. Like it was just like, and it was really cool to see. The atmosphere was electric. And to see the celebrities were crazy that came out for it. A bunch of rappers, Kevin Hart, obviously, Iverson, Dr. J. I mean, you're talking like the atmosphere was, everything was perfect, and Embiid was.
There's no reason why that franchise should not always be within that conversation of the Celtics, of the Bulls, of the.
And this is the way Lakers, they're trying to do this for a 10-year run.
That historic quote-unquote franchise.
They're trying to
always be in that conversation, but they haven't been. So now you have the opportunity to build
They're trying to be somewhere in that 10-year run, and I agree with you. That's why I'm with you on the and play him, because as I said, you can set the standard this year. Like, LeBron's standard at minimum at minimum has to be, I just never want to lose in the first round, right? Because he just hasn't yet. So at minimum, his standard for the rest of his career is no matter what, got to get out the first round. Well, the Sixers right now can start their standard of we won't lose in the first round. You know what I mean? But you got to play your best players, and Embiid is your second best player. He is the difference here as well.
I'd say one, but whatever.
He could be one, he could be two. Either way, right. The two of them, Simmons and him, are super important together, and they play so well together, and he's a ridiculous defensive force.
It seems like they were literally just protecting the future of years to come, and it's just unnecessary.
There's no reason today.
Zero reason.
There's no reason right now.
None.
I would like to see him in Game 3.
Stupid.
It says,
I hope he doesn't, because I will continue to laugh.
It says doubtful,
them, but
it says doubtful, but I am hopeful to see with the pressure that he put on them. And I'll be honest with you, I'm proud that he put the pressure on them because the Sixers players haven't pushed back on the Sixers with any of this, which...
No, they've been a bunch of yes men, but he is the Shaquille O'Neal, like I said, and he will say what he wants to say, and I'm glad that he did.
They have trusted the process, but at this time,
he's into nonsense.
But right? At this time, he's literally saying to them, "You got to trust me."
I am the nonsense, and I'm saying no.
You got to trust me now. You have to trust me, is what he's trying to tell them. He's like, "Listen, I want to go. I got to go. I can't sit here on the bench and watch this any longer."
He's so right though. They are babying him, and like I said, it's been an all year thing, but. Now is the time to go, and they're not. And that's just, as a Sixers fan, you should be pissed off. You should be roasting them as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's atrocious. You should be rolling. Now is the time to go all in, and now you want to backpedal. Were they backpedaling when they were on that 16-game winning streak? How many games did he play?
I think 7, 8.
Really?
Yeah, he was out the last 11 games. I want to say 12. He was out double digits.
Was most of that by the injury situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got hurt with about like 12 games to go, and all of that was the injury. All the games that he missed was because of that injury.
Fair enough, but and to your point, by this past Sunday, opening weekend of the playoffs, he was good to go.
Yeah.
So
by the second game of the first round, he was okay to play,
and he hasn't.
And he didn't in game 2. So here's my question, and I'm not saying this is okay.
Maybe he knows something that we don't. He's saying they're babying me. And
my cousin, who is a big Sixers fan, him and I were talking about this earlier, and we both really hope that this isn't the case. But what if because they won by 30, they just didn't want to mess with the mojo? I mean, look, that's a horrible excuse not to play your second best talent.
That's funny as hell, then.
But you know what I mean? We can't.
That's some ballsy. We are so good. That's such a Philadelphia. That's a. I'm Jared Hood, and I'm out here tweeting and everybody else, and we post on Facebook. Did you see the 76ers? Did you see how good? Yo, did you trust the process? Yo, the 76ers, the process is undefeated in the playoffs. That's such a stupid Philadelphia. You know what? That's exactly what it is. That's such a dumb Philly mentality.
They were for one game. So
I can't stand y'all. That's what it was. You know what? Y'all right.
That would be so bad if that's what they did. That would be so bad if that's what they did.
Exactly what it is.
If they were trying to get away with seeing if they could sneak 2 wins without him. You know what I mean? Because you got to win as quick as you can at all the time.
Because guess what they always say? Playoffs don't begin until somebody wins on the road, and guess what just happened?
Yeah, I look, and I would hope that's not the case. As I told you, it would be the worst case scenario.
I'd rather the Sixers go up 2-0 at that point if I'm a Sixers fan, because I don't know if they can win one in Miami. I don't know if they can.
They've never played on the road.
I don't know if they can.
We will see.
I don't know if they can. Didn't they split the series between the Heat and them?
Yes.
This past? Okay. And they didn't win on the road?
No, I don't think they beat the Heat in Miami.
See, that's the thing. Even before Game 2, I was like, I don't know if they can win in Miami. If I'm a Sixers fan, I would want them to go up 2-0, and then
I absolutely want them to go up 2-0.
And then maybe we would still win in Miami, and hope for a 2-2 and just go back and forth like this till something gives. But man, at this rate, Miami's in the driver's seat, and I would not like it if I were you right now.
Like I said, I'm still confident the Sixers can win in round 1 here. But again, I would like to see Embiid come back. That's going to be the biggest X factor.
Yeah, shout to them. Shout out to Tony. He's a Miami Heat fan. You know, he doesn't have a tattoo of a Miami Heat trophy, but shout out to him. He's a Heat fan. He said F the process, not trust it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, he doesn't like the process.
Shout out to him now.
Cavs, Pacers, Game 1. Is that how you think the rest of the series is going to go?
With what? The Pacers winning the series?
Yeah.
No.
I agree.
No. Shouts to Victor Oladipo.
Had a great game.
Shout to him.
Lance Stevenson.
He had a great year. He had a great year.
He did have a great year.
I'm not going to say I stand corrected because I still think he's overrated. This was his best year, which tells me, okay, he had a great year. If he does it again, then okay. Then he's
I'm going to stay on, I think he's a solid player.
Listen. If he keeps going on the path, if he does what he did this year, next year, then great. He's great. Then I will say, you know what, my fault. But up until this point, he's been an overrated player as far as I'm concerned.
That's actually reasonable.
And saying overrated is still even kind of disrespectful because he's been solid.
I wasn't going to say overrated, but I was...
Because it seems like people have been saying he's great, and I don't think he's great. I think he's solid. If I have to say anything, he's solid. But he had a great year this past year. I just don't know if it's going to continue. I think he might go back, which he'll still be... He used to be good, but he's not... he's still not a star on... a team. He's still not a team that's gonna go to the finals by himself.
I made fake. Right, agreed. I made fake.
That's why I'm like.
I made fake jabs at you at the All-Star break about how he was an All-Star because of the comments he made last year. Look,
he should. He listens to JD Sports. He follows. He hits that like button.
And because I told you during the trade that he was a good player.
Victor Oladipo hates me. That's cool. It's like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, not the Jacksonville. The Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. Yeah.
They hate you too.
Yeah, even though I like Cam, weird. But anyways, Oladipo, I told you in that trade that he was good. Now, I agreed with you that he was not Paul George good, and it was not the,
still overrated.
But it was still funny, because, because I do think he is a good player.
He had a great year.
And he had a really good, that was a fantastic game he had in game one.
Overrated.
Lance Stevenson had a good game. I just don't see them doing that through 4 games. Also, the Cleveland Cavaliers shot
Did Stevenson whisper sweet nothings in LeBron's ear again?
No, but so LeBron was standing there just it was towards the end of the game he was just standing up there hands on his hips and he was looking around at something at the coaches or something, and Lance Stevenson came up and got as close as he could and bent over and just kind of kept running into him a little bit, and LeBron just kind of eventually looked down and had one of those LeBron smirks and just kind of shook his head.
He finally manned up and did something about it.
And then LeBron just kind of just looked away and just started walking the other way all right, well, we're not going to do this, this is fine.
LeBron, you lost, it don't matter.
Right, and that he wasn't even going to argue. He wasn't even about to get into it with Lance Stevenson. They were down 10 with 2 minutes left when it happened. So
did LeBron have a good game? I need your opinion. I already know the answer.
He had an average game. I mean, it was good for standards.
You backpedal off that Twitter thing I saw.
Well, I like to troll everybody who...
See, I read Twitter and this guy. I pay attention to what this guy tweets about.
I like to troll people who solely gave Westbrook the MVP last year for a triple-double. Right. This year didn't even consider him as the MVP for doing the same exact thing that we said he was the MVP for, and then says that LeBron has bad games while he gets triple-doubles.
See, that's... We've had this conversation. I believe it was last week or the week before. This is where you get trapped in that whole, Westbrook had a triple-double. But what was LeBron's shooting percentage game 1 now? Here's the thing. Lonzo Ball can have a triple-double too, but if he's 1 of 10 and only had 1 field goal and he had 2 points, but then he made 8 of 8 from the free throw line, yeah, technically this SOB had a triple-double. LeBron only shot 40%.
Right.
Then he technically did not have a great game. No. Yeah, he had a triple-double, but he didn't shoot well.
He was the only...
So stop getting triggered about the situation.
Westbrook
wasn't shooting 40% when he was getting those triple-doubles.
I got a question.
Sure.
The Cavaliers.
Because he knows I'm right. That's why he changed it up. Gotcha.
Outside of LeBron. Kevin Love only shot 8 shots, right?
Yeah.
Do you think... Because he would be what you would think is the second option for them, right?
Allegedly, yeah.
You want your second option taking more than 8 shots then, yes? So what I look at is with LeBron
are we deflecting on LeBron now?
No, I was going back to LeBron. So I look at it, LeBron he had a triple-double. It was a good game. It was a good game, but it wasn't a top 10 LeBron. It wasn't a LeBron carrying his team in a playoff performance, which we have seen many times, and that's what you're expecting in a game where, look, I'll be honest with you, the last 5 minutes of the game, he looked disengaged, and that bothers me when they were only down 12 points, and I wanted him to push it. I wanted him to get it forward. I wanted him to... I'll be honest with you.
Stuck in triggered.
The reason I think that he was doing that with about 5 minutes to go is because throughout the rest of the game, every time he was passing it. In this, he was missing shots, and then he was passing it up, and the rest of the team was missing shots. So I think he was frustrated that he wasn't hitting it, and I think he was frustrated that even when he was passing it away, no one else was hitting it either.
That killer mentality, that clutch mentality LeBron got. That I'm going to go out there and get it mentality LeBron got. Oh, wait. All right. Continue.
Well, I don't think one game is going to...
Well, you just told me, he was like, I mean, whatever. Y'all ain't making shots. I ain't making shots, so whatever. Fuck this game.
He was running down there and just tossing it away, though, right away because he was missing the jumpers early in the quarter. I would like to see him try to get it to the rag more. Isn't that what we always say about LeBron? Towards the end of that game. But what I was going to ask you, because, look, I don't see the Cavaliers shooting 23% behind the arc again in the series and, like, 37% in the game as a team, right? Because, like, J.R. Smith was the only one other than LeBron that was out there putting up shots while they were trying to make that comeback. And that's not good because J.R. Smith doesn't need to come off the bench, start thinking he needs to start putting up the shots to win the game. You need JR. You need the shots to come to JR. You don't need JR to go to the shots. You know what I'm saying? Because as you're like, shooter shoot and JR is a shooter.
Even though he can't shoot.
So that's what I'm saying. So LeBron, even though he was getting other people involved and they were missing shots, you got to look at K-Love to take more than 8 shots. Like LeBron did pass it to him a couple times and he was passing it away as well. So this isn't just his fault or just LeBron's fault or just JR putting up shots, whatever. Like I said, I think they're going to shoot better, but I would like to see Kevin Love put up a little more shots, and yes, LeBron be more engaged at the end, even when...
LeBron, I'm going to need you to pretend to give a shit. How about that?
Yeah, towards the end of the game, the last 5 minutes, he looked disengaged, and that's why I called it out, because up until that game, when he was putting max effort in, even when they were missing shots and he was missing shots, at minimum you can say, all right, well, he's trying here. He's trying to get the ball to the rim, rotate, but during the last 5 minutes, yes, it did not look like he was trying to do that.
That's not a competitive...
And it went from him having a pretty good game, even though they were losing, by a sizable margin through a decent amount of this, to just an average game. Because
that's not somebody that cares. That's not somebody that's competitive. That's not somebody that is willing to take control of a situation. No matter how bad, if everybody else is disengaged, then take control. It doesn't. If you're having a bad game, get over it. Shrug it the hell off and get out there. He made that slick comment after when he was like, well, something about being down 1-0 in the playoffs. He was like, I was down, 3-1 in the finals. You think I care about game 1? It was like, dude, why don't you just go out there and do something? Like, take control of the situation.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be down. Even if it was a situation where you were down 0-1 in the first round. Just be engaged. You are this star. You're supposed to be the king, which is fake, but whatever. You're supposed to be this guy. So why are you disengaging yourself from the situation? It doesn't matter if you suck. It doesn't matter if the team sucks. You are the man, allegedly. So go be that man. Even if you are trash and it was like, okay, he was just trash and had a bad game, but to take yourself out of it completely is ridiculous and dumb. Exactly why I don't consider him the greatest of all time, because you're not a killer. You are not the guy that is willing to go out there and say, you know what? No matter how bad I am, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try from start to finish. He doesn't do that consistently. He doesn't do it.
So I was watching the game on Sunday with my girlfriend, and the Flyers were on as well, so I was going back and forth. And the Flyers ended up getting absolutely destroyed that day, so I went back to the Cavs game. And while we were watching the Cavs game, I was trying to explain to her during that 5-minute stretch where I was like, this is the biggest part of LeBron's game that if I could fix one thing, it was that. Like watching that and just watching him do that, because then she was asking me, she was like, well, why is he doing this? And I told her
the part that matters.
I told her, I was like, honestly, because I just feel like he just feels like they can't do it. And he feels like at that moment, like, I told her, I was like, I don't have a real answer of what's in his head at that moment. But
he doesn't have it.
The sports psychology of why every now and then in games like that he just checks out is very odd.
It's sad.
And I told her that. There's probably about 10 games like that I can literally go back and point to.
And you know what? And that's exactly why this is exactly why I can't even put him above Kobe. Because he does check out mentally. Even when Kobe would go out there and would just dog it, it was like, Kobe, God, you are shooting miserably. He was still going for it. Like, damn it, I'm going to try and I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this W. I'm going to keep going, whether or not I suck or not. is redundant because I'm going to go for it. LeBron checks out too often. This is why he's not even in the conversation.
And like I've always said about LeBron, I don't mind that if when he's having a bad night shooting, if he becomes passive aggressive and starts passing the ball around, my issue starts becoming is
he become disengaged
when he doesn't start trying to rotate the ball. You know what I mean? When he's just passing, when he literally is getting past half court and then just tossing the ball to somebody right away, which he did about 3 or 4 straight times, and that's when I was like, all right, like point taken, LeBron, like literally point taken.
You're the quote king, and you're supposed to be the greatest, but you want to be petty right now in the playoffs. All right, got it, Kang.
But that's
stupid. That's stupid. Stupid. Go out there and go be who you are supposed to be. We are who you thought you were. Go be that guy then. Except, well, in my case, you are who I think you are, which is that guy.
And see, so
that's cool. Keep doing that. Keep doing that.
And here's the
because
complex.
You want to fail because your team isn't that.
But here's the complex part about LeBron. No one's gonna remember except for you because he's gonna still win the series, and that's where things like go.
Yeah, that's the problem. Nobody remembers.
That's what. But
this is why when we have these great conversations,
that's where things go haywire with LeBron is because.
Right, because y'all don't pay attention.
He brings... Well, no, I pay attention to it. It's just that his good outweighs...
Y'all.
I don't forget it. I will never forget...
Bad outweighs the good.
I will never forget literally tweeting at him after that game in Boston and being like, LeBron, you look like an idiot right now.
He does that a lot.
Because...
All the time, but
yes, but that game in Boston that I'm talking about, we all know what I'm talking about, the Cleveland game where he stood there in the corner.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
When his last ever game was a Cleveland Cavalier... in Game 6, when he literally brought them back from 15 points on his own, went up 7 points, and then started passing the ball and running to the corner and just stood there and let his team falter. He let his team falter in the last 7 minutes, and he did it to prove to Dan Gilbert that you need to bring somebody else in there. And I tweeted at him, and I was like, you look like an idiot right now, LeBron, because I was so mad at him for doing that day.
And people should, and this is why when people have the...
I'm a LeBron lover, and I literally will not, I will remember all of these moments. I talk about these moments with people like you all the time. I will forever bring it up. That is a part of LeBron's history that needs to be remembered for sure.
This is why anytime we have the legacy conversation, where we have one of the greatest of all time conversations, whether it's Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, whatever order you want to go with, this is why I always say, no, he's not even, to me it's, let's say Jordan and Kobe. To me, it's not even a conversation because of that. And a lot of people... And you have done it to a fault as well, as much as you're saying you're not. You do bring up his faults, but you've also gone on that other side as well.
Oh, I think he's a top 2 basketball player of all time, but just because he does that, I don't think that doesn't diminish other things he's done in basketball life.
Yes, you know why it does? Because eventually you get to a point. When you talk about legacies, you're talking about guys like Jordan and then Kobe, let's say, then LeBron. You're talking about guys who played in different eras who weren't necessarily matched up always in their prime.
Agreed.
Eventually you got to start breaking it down like that. Eventually you got to say, okay, what was his faults? What was his faults? What was his faults? And Jordan and Kobe had that killer instinct that you can't give LeBron.
So can I give you...
And if you would give it to him, it was later in his career.
Can I give you an example?
And now we're late in his career. And now you're seeing Game 1 of a playoff game where he's literally checking out.
Can I give you an example where I'm going to argue against both of us? Okay, I'm going to argue against my argument and argue against your argument right here. In football, I think Tom Brady's better. I think Tom Brady is amazing, right? I think Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. You think that Aaron Rodgers is better, though, right? Overall?
I've never said that, but sure.
Well, but you're an Aaron Rodgers lover, right? Aaron Rodgers checked out through how many games throughout his entire career and threw his entire team under the bus. The reason that I didn't like Aaron Rodgers for so long is the reason that you don't like LeBron and the reason that I don't put him on the Tom Brady level.
Wait, what? Okay, there's way too many. What are you talking about? It's one that I've never said, one was better than the other, but that's redundant.
No. I was just saying in the sense of the Aaron Rodgers thing, and I've come around on Aaron Rodgers because over the last 3 or 4 years, 2 years.
Regardless, time out. Backpedal. Don't go any further. When has anybody said Aaron Rodgers is clearly checked out of this playoff situation?
Well, not playoffs. It's always regular season games.
I can't think of a regular season situation, but okay, even so.
But he didn't early in his career in the regular season. He was doing it, but.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with that but I have no clue what you're personally talking about. But I'm okay. Fine, whatever. Let's go with that. Okay, playoffs.
No, I agree.
So what are we talking about? We're talking about the playoffs right now. Forget the regular season.
Well, I was just saying, Aaron Rodgers has the same. Him and LeBron James have the same mentality, right? LeBron does his things a little more sneaky. Aaron Rodgers
is a killer, man. He's a killer, man. And even in the regular season, he's a killer, man. Those Harold Rodgers, like, oh, you kidding me? No, he's a killer. He's about it. He goes for it. I will always say that about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, without question, the last couple of years, were in his MVP last couple of runs, without question, he has been
a killer. Would you say he's a killer?
Oh yeah, he's probably been the best quarterback in the last 5 years. I don't think there is an argument that stands. I mean, Tom Brady.
Okay.
Sure, but like you're talking right there, 1 and 2. But I mean, like in the last 5 years, without question.
Okay, so those are two killers, but I can't say with a straight face LeBron James is a killer. He showed it. He shows it in.
But what I'm saying is there was flashes one way and one way the other. Now, when you're talking Aaron,
no.
But the good outweighs the bad with Aaron Rodgers.
I disagree with that.
The good outweighs the bad with Brett Favre, who threw a lot of interceptions type thing. But I mean, now that's talking statistics, not the way they act. But
I feel like you're really stretching this point of yours. But
well, I was trying to go with the way they act, because the way Aaron Rodgers acts, right? How many times back in my old apartment, I spent 2 of our I'm just sayings on Aaron Rodgers because of the way he was acting during that regular season.
Off the field, but you were never questioning what he was doing as a killer.
No, because as I said, he actually
gets it done.
Because what he finally did on the field was started to just, instead of checking out of games, he did
When did he ever check out? Like, what do you?
Early in his career, the year they won the Super Bowl, he checked out on 2 of the games that they lost on, and then I'm pretty sure it was 2 years later
they won the Super Bowl.
Like I said, it wasn't in the playoffs; it was in the regular season.
Wow. Okay. Okay, so you remember Aaron Rodgers in the regular season. I'm going to choose to remember LeBron in the postseason.
I don't remember Aaron Rodgers in the regular season because, as I said, I've come around on him. And no, I was trying to point out the sense of,
Lord have mercy.
As I told you, I remember LeBron stuff, but I still can put LeBron on the top, too. Still put, you know what I'm saying?
No, 0. I have no clue what you're saying.
Just because there's going to always be bad parts of everyone's career, but it's all...
Okay, and like I said, eventually you get to a point where you have to nitpick things and pick something where, okay, if we got these guys here and they can't necessarily compete one-on-one in their prime, so how can you distinguish one from the other? And one of the biggest things between Jordan, Kobe, and then LeBron is that these two have that killer. They are all in. Whether or not they ball out or not, they will try.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hear what you're saying.
You can say more often than not, especially with LeBron, is that he does this check out shit. I just don't get it. Again, it's only one game. It's only the first round.
Well, this game, yeah, but we were talking about overall in his career. Yeah, he's done it, like I said, about 5 to 10 times, roughly, you can point it out, in his career.
And that's why I can't take him seriously in that regard, because he's when we have the clutch or the killer instinct, I always say no, and this is why I always say no. I can't go with him. Because it's not a guarantee. He could check out. Your life's online. Who do you want the ball? Whose ball? Yeah. Who do you want to have the ball in their hands? Kobe, LeBron, or Jordan? You're not going to say LeBron number 1. You're not. You're not going to say him number 2.
No, if you're looking for jump shots, ever.
Regardless. Because you know why? Because you know 1 or 2 are going to try. Kobe and Jordan are going to try. You know LeBron, he might, I don't feel like it today.
Now,
I don't feel like it today.
And look.
I'm gonna pass it. You know what? You guys suck today. I suck today. You know what? I'm just gonna pass it. And go ahead, JR. Shoot that shot. Shoot it for his life.
And I feel like I always have to tell people I'm an MJ lover, so this is not me arguing against MJ. My question is, right? The weirdest part about all this, because I don't disagree with you. I think if you're gonna poll everybody in America, most people are always gonna say Michael Jordan and Kobe are gonna take that final shot. If you're talking about the last 5 seconds in the game, who's having the ball. But when you look up their Game 7 statistics, who has the highest numbers? No, that's the complex part of LeBron. Again, as I'm saying, I'm just trying to be the other side of it.
Clue too.
LeBron has crazy Game 7 statistics, which is, it's unbelievable.
Well, 1, Jordan doesn't have Game 7, so that's redundant. 2, I'm trying to think how many Game 7s Kobe had. He had the one with the Celtics. Are we talking just finals or in his career?
In the career. He had 2 with the Celtics, didn't he? He lost one.
I said finals or the playoffs. That's what I meant, finals or the playoffs. He had 1 with the Celtics in the finals.
Didn't they win 1 and lose 1? Weren't they both 7 games?
I think there might have been a Western Conference 7. There might have been.
They played the Nuggets in the 7-game series, I think, in the Western Conference
Finals. He had 2, I'll say, in his career, 2 or 3. 2 or 3. So, I mean, that's kind of redundant. LeBron's had more, so...
Yes, but what I'm saying is, on averages, of him coming out and putting up... Of him coming out and putting up big numbers like that, what I'm saying is like... I agree with you. The complex part of LeBron is when the game's on the line, or when the series is on the line, he has his best numbers. That is a very weird thing.
Yeah, allegedly. Depends what part of his career you want to look at.
He's had one bad Game 7 in his career. All of his other Game 7s were off
I wasn't even necessarily looking at Game 7. I was going to say later, 5, 6. Okay, let me correct myself. Elimination games, we'll go there.
I think he has a winning record in elimination games.
That's cute. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean he had a great game.
I'm pretty sure his numbers are pretty high in elimination games.
Sure.
His playoff numbers overall are pretty high.
You can say that. I don't know that for a fact. You don't know that for a fact. You just saying that because you're hopeful that that's what.
No, I mean his numbers overall in the playoffs are really high.
He also had some checkout moments. A lot. Of
no, for sure. As I said that.
So we don't know if he has great series closing games. We don't know that. We don't know that. We'll have to look it up, I guess. Stat boy. Anyway, can we move on from LeBron?
Yeah, we can move on from LeBron. The Pacers. Do you think that they keep it up? Pacers. I know we said they don't. So you don't think they keep it up? Raptors.
I hope they win. You know what? I hope the Pacers win. It'll be funny to me. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Will it go 5 games, 6 games?
You think it goes 7?
No.
I agree.
No, somebody's winning before that. That's tough. I'll say 6 Cavs, and I'm not confident with that.
Outside of
so what you got?
Well, I have the Cavaliers winning the series.
How many?
I'd say 6. I mean, the way they lost Game 1,
6 games.
I would think that at some point.
One, no.
I would think that at some point the rest of the team around the Cavs, and that's where the Cavs are most vulnerable. Is LeBron doesn't have a good game. They are the only team in the NBA that relies on literally one player as they go. Like the Celtics are doing their series right now with everybody. I mean, I guess you could say the Bucks rely on one player, but how far are they going to go? The Pelicans again, or the Blazers again. You know what I mean? How far are they going to go with that one player? Where let me put it, the Cavs are the only team that people legitimately think are going to make it far, that rely on one player, and that's what makes them the most
let's be real,
vulnerable to go out in the first round.
Let's be real. The majority of people are saying the Cavs are going to go far is because of just history, just because it's LeBron and they're going with that.
8 straight, so
right. So they're going with it by default, not necessarily because they are the better situation. You would think, in theory, minus the LeBron situation, honestly, the 76ers will be that team.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
Right. Right.
Or the Raptors. The Raptors played a close Game 1 against the Wizards. They were blowing the Wizards out in Game 2 as we were starting to record this, so I don't know. That game most likely will be final by the time we're done with this. So I would say they're up 2-0. I'm pretty confident on that one.
Do you believe in the Raptors?
No.
I was going to say, you know what? Drake doesn't even believe in the Raptors. I'm pretty sure he had a John Wall jersey on tonight. It wouldn't surprise me.
I do think
nobody believes in the Raptors. Nobody, not a soul. They shouldn't even won that second game. They are
the first game.
Right, they shouldn't even won that first game. They kind of just they had a comeback, mazel. That's what's up. But come on, man, like I was watching that and I was like, this is the Raptors. This is the team I don't believe in. I don't believe in.
Look, and I watched it real time a couple times this year. The Wizards in late game, close game situations. They are bad in late game, close game situations. They are just not. I mean,
they underachieve, man.
And look, you got to go to John Wall or Bradley Beal, which honestly, I'll be honest, if you're going to take the jump shot, you got to go with Bradley Beal. Sometimes they don't go with either late game, and that's just where things get really off the rails when you're talking about the Wizards. Even though John Wall just came back, they played better when John Wall was out. By the way, they were out of the playoffs when he got hurt. They were in the playoffs by the time he came back. I'm
not at all interested in this series.
I didn't watch the whole. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I watched a whole lot of Wizards games without John Wall. I watched a couple with him, but
you notice
the ones without him, from what I read, they had better ball movement.
You know, it's what they were the number 1 seed.
The Raptors?
Right.
Yeah, they are.
And you know, how long has this show been going on? And this is the very first time we have mentioned that team.
They were on
Why?
NBA
Because
TV.
Neither one of them.
They were on NBA TV for Game 2. It started at 5.
Their time.
On a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, our time. Yeah, right.
Well, that's their time, too.
Right.
Toronto's on the East Coast.
My point. We've been talking for however long at this point, and we've
Celtics,
been saying,
Bucks.
Who's real in the East? Who's real in the East? We're talking Cavs, Sixers. Cavs. Well, how about the Pacers? Oh.
Celtics, Bucks.
You said but what are you saying about the Raptors at this point? You're saying no. You're not even saying that. You're saying it flat out now.
Celtics, Bucks.
What about them?
Who you got in that series? Well, you think the Raptors beat the Wizards at least?
Sure.
Do you think they beat the Cavs?
No.
Raptors, Bucks. Who you got?
So what? The Raptors would potentially face the Pacers as well?
Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah. So the winner of... Yeah, when I say Raptors, Bucks, I meant Celtics, Bucks. But yeah, the Raptors will play the winner of the Pacers-Celtics series. Or I mean Pacers-Cavs series. And the Sixers play the winner of the Celtics, Bucks.
They lose to the Cavs. It would be funny as hell if they lost to the Pacers. I would love that. You know, that's.
Do they beat the Pacers?
No, I hope not.
The Pacers have nobody on their team other than Oladipo. Can you name another Pacer other than Oladipo and Lance Stepehnson?
Who's Victor Oladipo? Who's that?
Can you name another Pacer?
Reggie Miller.
I meant currently. Thaddeus Young. That's all I got. That is all I got.
Wow, he's still in the league?
Yeah, he's the next Sixer. That's the reason I know who he is.
Damn. Shout out to Mr. old 2K power forward that I made into that Kevin Durant.
I used to use him all the time with the Sixers.
I got drafted by the 76ers in my career once, and I made him into a monster.
He can play, right?
I made him into a monster.
He can play.
Yeah, that was like the second year in. So
I had him, Lavoy Allen, balling together.
He was like a 70-something
Lou
overall.
Wilville.
He was like mid-70s overall. I made him into like a mid-80s. I made him into a monster.
Yeah. Lou Wilville, Jody Meeks. That was that was before the process. E.T., Evan Turner, Andre Iguodala.
The real AI, right?
The second AI.
Wow.
AI 2.0, they say.
No, I was always told the real AI, you know. I'm so glad I didn't know you then.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Celtics, Bucks.
Like I said, the Celtics, or not the Celtics, the Bucks have underachieved this year. I don't know where the hell Jabari Parker's at, you know. If y'all see him, let me know because
I like him.
I'd
so
like
I'm
to holler at him
too,
because he didn't show up game one. I'm assuming he's not going to show up in the second game here. But the Greek Freak, he has zero help. No help. They should easily win this series.
Because the Celtics, other than having a really good coach, they're just... I mean, Tatum took over in the second half, and the Greek Freak didn't play all that well in the second half.
Ridiculous.
I don't see that happening for the whole series, though, but who knows?
No, the Bucks, like I said, they underachieved. They should be in a better position overall, but they're not, so it is what it is. But I still think, you know, like we say, the regular season means nothing. They should now be on that other level where they should be able to at least compete better with the Celtics team. Game one, I was just like, okay, yeah, went into overtime, but should it have really? No, probably not. Probably have not. If Jabari Parker shows up, it doesn't go into overtime.
Simmons, Ben Simmons, Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell of Utah. All three rookies had great game ones of their NBA playoff careers. Speaking of the West, we could do this fast, or we could dive into it. What do you want to do?
Just wait, whatever. Just keep going.
Okay. Portland Pelicans probably had the best game that no one watched.
I did not.
I didn't watch it either. It didn't start till 10:30.
Yeah, right.
Game one. We're talking about game one.
Right. I had work, so I didn't watch any of it.
I watched like the first 20 minutes, but I worked the day of that, so I was just dead beat. Fell asleep. Great game, apparently. I watched the last couple minutes on a highlight. Who do you have winning that series?
Bug's not playing.
You have to take Dame, right?
I want to take Dame.
I want to take Dame too. Me too. We both. I really like. Look,
but can you name another Trailblazer at this point? Because the whole team left the past 2 years. So, right.
Wesley Matthews ain't walking through that door. No, I can't.
Neither is L.A. Neither is Nicholas Batum. Neither is
Brandon Roy.
Who's a white boy? Oh my goodness.
Steve Blake.
Yeah, there was another white boy.
Remember he played for them for a little bit after
power forward, big. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing blank. Did he play for Duke? Oh, what was his name? Is he a Duke or Carolina he played for?
Plumlee?
Yep. Is he there? I don't think he's there anymore. Alright, yeah.
I watched a couple minutes, dude, and I didn't pay attention until Dame took a shot, and then I'd watch. I love my boy Drew Holiday. When he plays as well, when he's healthy and plays as well as he did, he is a legitimate top 15 point guard in the league, top 10 point guard in the league. And that's a really deep position in the league, so to be top 10, top 15 for the injuries he's had over his career is pretty spectacular at this point. He had a pretty good game overall. His numbers were really good.
I mean, I guess on paper the Pelicans should win this.
Well, they won game 1, so you would think. I mean, and the Blazers, the Blazers aren't a good playoff team historically, but it's not like the Pelicans have a whole lot of history to talk about what they've done in the Smoothie King Arena.
Such a clown name. You know what? I'm going Portland just on that reason. You don't deserve to win when you are that.
Another game that I didn't watch that was really close was the 1 seed Houston taking on the Timberwolves, who had a win on the last day of the season to get in. The Timberwolves took them down to the last minute of the game. James Harden, to his credit, scored 12 straight points with about 3 minutes to go in this game to seal it. So, congratulations to him. Another series in the West, Oklahoma City and Utah. Yeah, you threw me off there. Oklahoma City and Utah.
Because I'm still laughing about other things.
I know.
But
same. No,
I was trying to act like I was laughing about what
I got you.
I was trying to see you messed it up, and
it's fine. Take you guys behind the curtain.
Dwight tries to be professional, and Dwight was.
We took a break, and then we started talking.
I was laughing at that game. I was laughing at that game
because
it's
the two
funny.
of us just started having conversation because we're homies, and this is why we can't have a show because we be back on.
Because when we're on live,
we'd be dropping names.
The whole thing will be on air.
Oh snap! Back.
Nobody that's listening right now it had nothing to do with any of y'all.
We'd be gossiping.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with whoever the hell you think it's about.
Anyways,
I promise you.
So
we just need to reassure that situation.
Yeah, no, you're right. So,
just saying.
Oklahoma City and Utah. Oklahoma City was losing by like 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 points early.
Told you I was laughing about that. All right.
Utah was up on him big. Donovan Mitchell didn't miss his first 7 shots.
Shooters gotta shoot, huh?
Then Oklahoma City won by like 7. So I got a question for you because I'm not even worried about that. Oklahoma City wins that series, yes?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
I agree. Shout out to my boy Melo, my favorite player, my favorite non-Sixer.
Has he shown up this playoff series?
Yeah, he played good in game 1. He had 14 points.
I watched a little bit of game run. Honestly, I did.
He had 7 in each. He had 7 in each half. Solid, consistent performance.
I watched actually quite a bit of that, and I saw Russ being Russ, but I honestly don't remember seeing much Melo.
Paul George had like 39 points. Russ was Russ. Melo had 14. They combined for, I think, 80-something, those 3.
Well, maybe that's why I really did pay attention to Melo, because it was so much scaled back.
He only had... Now, the good thing about Melo with Oklahoma City in the last couple months is he isn't just firing up 18 to 20 shots. What he's been doing is picking and choosing his spots, and he actually went vintage Melo from like the little angle 3 there and just kind of like in someone's face. No, it was good to see. Look, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna be like old Melo, but it was good.
He's old Melo. All right.
It was good to see. That's my dude. I got a question for you about the Rookie of the Year. This big, huge thing's being done about the whole Rookie of the Year because Ben Simmons last year didn't play a game, so because of that, he is technically a rookie this year. And Donovan Mitchell had a very good rookie year, but his statistics, if they both came into the league this year, it wouldn't be a conversation. Everyone would be saying Ben Simmons is the Rookie of the Year. But because of technicality, Donovan Mitchell started saying that he should be the Rookie of the Year. And Ben Simmons' reply, and as a Sixers fan, obviously, I'm going to just say Ben Simmons, but his reply is what I guess he will stand on, is if you think you got to win by technicality, do you really think you got to win? Which is kind of funny and kind of pointing out the truth of like, hey, man.
yourself, homie.
Yes, he knows he's technically in everyone's eyes not a rookie, but he's still saying
you're a technicality.
But look, as he said, if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year because of that, then he doesn't win Rookie of the Year because of that. But within the rules, it says he is a rookie and he has put up the best stats. So So what are
you asking me?
I'm asking you, do you think that they should change the rule? Because look, do you think that he wins it? I think he wins it because if you're going on the rules, Ben Simmons was the best rookie this year. Well, that's not even my bigger issue. Do you think he wins it?
I think they're definitely going to give it to him. Do I think he should get it? No.
I'm
on the side that no, you shouldn't get it. I was on that side with the whole Embiid thing last year as well.
Right. And that's what I was going to ask you.
If you're not playing, no. Then if this is not technically your rookie year, regardless if you were hurt or not, regardless if you played or not,
because
it's not, to me, it's not your rookie year.
So I have
it is by I guess
the definition of the standards of the NBA.
Sure. But it's not.
Let me try to put this to you, because this is how I've been trying to explain it to everybody.
It can go either way, but I'd lean towards the side of it's not, so no.
Like I said, by the technicalities of the way the rule is set up, I would give it to Ben Simmons. But I have the understanding of where everyone's coming from on the argument, and I look at it this way. In the NFL, they go on the polar opposite of, even if you're a practice squad player for 1 year, that was your rookie year. You were not eligible to be Rookie of the Year. Now, in baseball, you can play 36 games and still be considered a rookie the next year. And they play 162 games.
Well, I guess in that situation, then yeah.
That's less than 1/3, or 1/7 of the season or whatever. Okay. Now, in the NHL, if you play less than 16 games, which is 1/4 of the season, you can still be considered a rookie the next year.
So basically, the NBA needs to define this, is what you're saying.
Not just the NBA, but like everyone has their own definition. Yeah, so I mean, if the NBA said if the NBA comes out next year,
the NBA has a definition actually,
and that's right. So all of them have stipulations and rules and understandings of, even if you are 1 year out of college in the NFL and you went and played somewhere else, you would be considered a rookie. If you played in Canada and then came and played in the NFL, you'd be considered like a rookie. Still,
right? Should a rookie to the NFL, right?
Right. So, but there is like different stipulations for different things.
So let's apply that logic. If you're a rookie, if you're injured and you don't play your technical rookie year in the NBA, and you play your second year technically, then you are basically a rookie because you didn't play your first year.
So that's why they're saying Ben Simmons should be Rookie of the Year, and that's why they're saying they're going to he's most likely going to win.
Technically, yeah.
And now you feel it should be the other way.
Yeah,
you should feel. I'm
until you play.
As long as they define the rule, I really don't care how they do it. If they define it and say that this is how they want it forever, that if you sit out a year and then play your second year, you're still a rookie, that's fine. If they define it as you can't sit out a year, if you sit out a year, then you're not a rookie anymore, I'm okay with that as well. As long as they define it, yes, I'm perfectly okay with however they define it, because I see the argument both ways, and honestly, sure, Ben Simmons got to practice most of last year with NBA talent all year, and Donovan Mitchell didn't. So that is a clear-cut difference. I'm not going to say he didn't have an advantage.
So that's an advantage.
That's a clear-cut advantage. Right. And he got to be in the training room with Sixers doctors, which Donovan Mitchell was training with college physicians instead. So yes, without question, I'm not going to sit here and disagree that Ben Simmons didn't have a full year to prepare for this, that Donovan Mitchell didn't.
My word.
But as I said, according to the rule, I mean, Ben Simmons is who I think should win it. I'm not going to throw a big stink up. If they say Donovan Mitchell won it because more writers came out and decided that's how it should be, okay.
He's not throwing a stink about it, but he'll tweet about it. You will. Right.
I still got to be a troll on Twitter, but I mean,
no, you got to be you on Twitter.
My actual feelings, no, it's not. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
on Twitter, bro. Your true feelings come out. Your true feelings come out on Twitter, bro.
We have one more series to talk about with the West.
Okay.
Golden State and the Spurs.
Good talk. What's next?
Does Greg Popovich look like Santa Claus is going through a middle-age crisis?
I mean, I don't care what he looks like, but yeah.
A little bit, right?
Yeah, sure. So, word.
My question... we talk about Kawhi a lot.
Okay.
My question... We can make this short.
Very short.
Have a question.
Sure.
We talk about Embiid being mad at his team for not letting him play.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess at minimum we have to talk about Kawhi. This is getting a little... This is the playoffs, and I don't know. If he didn't play before, I guess why would he try to step in and play in the playoffs? But...
No, I'm not switching up my style. I said last week, I said 2 weeks ago. No. It's not. To me, it's not a conversation until next year.
No. I don't mean that he's gone. I'm saying, do you think Kawhi needs to come up and play? Like, if he can play, if he's cleared to play, and he can play, do you think Kawhi should, even though they're down 0-2 in their series?
Well, if they're down 0-2, then definitely no.
No. It sounded like Popovich was still trying to plead for him to play after one of the games.
He's been pleading with him for the whole year, man.
I know.
So,
after one of the playoff games, that's what I'm saying. Is it worth it today? Because I would think that if he didn't play those last 7-8 games, that's where I was like, all right, he's shutting it down for the season. He's not playing until next season. I'm with you. I wouldn't be worried until next season.
At this point, what's the point?
All right. Well, that's what I was just asking. I was just wondering. I agree with you. I completely agree. If I was Popovich, I wouldn't even waste my time trying to see if he would
he's
come
mad
back.
because Kawhi is the best player on that squad by far. So, of course, he's mad, and he should feel some type of way. And I'm sure as Greg Popovich, he's probably like, you know what? No, we could win this championship, never mind the fact.
Right, he feels
round.
like he has a good enough squad outside of his best player, with his best player. Yeah, and they're running.
So
he only has X amount of years with his two veteran pilots out there that are taking this plane to places that it probably can't go.
So of course he's mad. He has a right to be.
By
now.
I don't disagree. He's not going to play this season though, and I didn't think he was going to once he went to New York after that team meeting.
Like honestly, I don't even pay attention to these updates with him anymore. Like anytime I see it, I'm just like whatever. I keep moving.
I heard the clip of Greg Popovich kind of pleading for him, sort of.
I didn't even listen.
Not even pleading for him, but kind of.
I saw
talking about
it with
him
the
wanting
quote,
to come
and I was
back.
like,
right, yeah.
I kept it moving, kept it rolling. Like I said, by the time next year hits, if this is still a thing, then okay, Kawhi, it's on you. But right now, I'm not sweating it. I'm not worried about it.
You got anything more basketball?
No.
Okay, one thing before we get to Dez. I want to talk about a college football thing.
Mm-hmm.
College football changed the rule that if on a kickoff, if it's kicked inside the 25-yard line and you fair catch it now, the ball will be placed at the 25 as a touchback.
Okay.
They want to cut down on injuries from kickoffs. Kickoffs is the most dangerous play in the sport. It has the most injuries connected to it. It is the play that is on the field the least amount, but has the most injuries per number per play. My question to you is, I don't know if we've ever talked about this before. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this is a good way? Because honestly, everyone kicks the ball past the 25. I mean, this isn't the 1950s where everyone's kicking it at the 25 and we're starting the field there. Even high school kids are kicking it inside the 5-10 yard line. So outside of Bill Belichick kicking it, to the 26, I don't see any college team just trying to like revolutionize anything. I think every team's just going to fair catch it. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this is something we will see in the future of football? NFL further?
NFL will probably try to implement it. They've been trying with the whole
kickoff rule.
Kickoff in general when they
didn't
they bring it back or
yeah they moved it back and now every touchback is to the 25. Even punts now. Even punts are now to the 25.
They might look into it. I mean, if this proves to be a situation where it doesn't improve and decrease the amount of injuries and this, that, and the third in the college ranks, then yeah, the NFL would definitely take a look at it. So I mean,
I have a theory.
I still think. I mean, the whole injury thing, I just kind of shrug off. Like, just to me, just put it at the 20. I embrace and accept the fact that now it's 25. Okay, fine. Don't go any further.
I have a theory.
Okay, cool, but
I have a theory. I think they're going to get rid of kickoffs, honestly, one day, like completely. They're going to have to do something else to exchange, like to change it, or honestly, the best thing I think you can possibly do is
go the XFL route.
No, that's the worst thing you can do. But
what do you think the new XFL is going to do?
I don't know.
Did they do it the old XFL?
No.
I'm still in.
I'm in too, but they're not doing what the old
XFL. For those who don't know, you had two guys.
This is the worst thing you can possibly do to start a football game.
What was it? It was like, I don't know, let's say 20 yards.
They were about 20 yards. I think they were 25 yards off the ball.
Okay, let's say 25 yards. They was a starting point.
The ball started on the 50, and they were both on the 25. Yeah, so they ran 25 yards each.
25 yards.
On their own 25s. They had to start on their own 25s.
2 guys.
Across the field from each other.
2 grown-ass men. At full speed.
Had to run into each other as hard as they could. And not only...
I loved it.
That
was my favorite part.
Did you have to get to the ball first,
right.
But you had to get to the ball first, and if the other guy hit you so hard that the ball came out of your hands and he recovered it, it was his.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I love that. I loved it so much.
Do you know how many head collisions there were?
You know how entertaining that was?
It was. I watched every single one.
Oh my god, I loved it so much.
I went on YouTube actually a couple months ago and
that's
showed
exciting.
my cousin how to do it.
That's exciting.
It was exciting, but it was so... I mean, that's an injury.
Oh. Can we go back to the 90s then or the mid-2000s because
as you and I were just discussing about 1997 wrestling that we would rather watch.
Right, it's better. I don't want to deal with this whole let's eliminate kickoffs, let's push the ball back. No, let's just go balls out. I want to see 2 grown-ass men go head first and see who gets the ball first. I'm about it.
I don't have the answer of what they would do in exchange of the kickoff. You know, if you start the game at the 20 or the 25.
Vince McMahon had the answer.
But
Vince McMahon had the answer.
I do think one day the kickoffs will be extinct. All right, well...
You know what they're going to do? They're going to make it the coin flip. Heads or tails? Heads. He's got the ball.
At the 25.
20. So
20 or 25. And I think if you do that, you have to go 20, not 25. You got to make it 80 yards, not...
So anticlimactic and not interesting.
Oh, man,
the XFL had it, bro. Just saying.
You have to figure out a way to make it more entertaining than you just flip a coin and you start the ball at the 20. They have to do something else to determine field position. I don't know.
Nothing.
Again, I don't have the answer.
You go one extreme or you go the other extreme. Or you just keep it how it is.
So, we talked a couple times throughout the off-season about how I said there was rumors about Dez being cut. You said no way, not happening. I said to you that I'm not sure if it's 100% happening, but I kept hearing it. I kept hearing it. Right, no, I kept talking about this on the show. But you steadfast, not happening.
Nope, didn't make any sense.
Once after it got past where free agents were basically a week in, I was like, all right, even though I keep hearing that Dez is most likely, I just don't see him getting cut because there was really... Talk about making no sense team-wise. It makes no sense to cut somebody at that time. Once you are a week into free agency, all the best free agents most likely are gone. All the money is already spent, so you can't even clear up money and get somebody. So it makes no sense to cut somebody after the first week of free agency. Not only did they wait a week into free agency, they waited a month and a half into free agency to cut Dez. That, to me, is the most surprising part. It doesn't make sense from a team's perspective because who are they going to throw to? But... Not only are you screwing yourself you're freeing up your money for this year, but all the best talent that you can spend that money on is signed, but you're also screwing the player who did nothing but support the Dallas Cowboys, come out and talk about how much he loved the Dallas Cowboys, showed as much passion as somebody can about winning for the Dallas Cowboys, and they kind of just, and I know it's a business, but at some point you have to... They could have done this the week before free agency started so Dez had the fair shot just like everybody else to get the biggest contract at the best place he possibly could go. And now his options are going to be limited. If you want to get Dez Bryant, somebody will clear the money to get Dez Bryant. I understand that. But it's still going to be a lot harder and his options are going to be less limited. It's going to be teams picking him not picking teams. You know what I mean? Where... That's what is puzzling to me. And what's puzzling to me more on the Cowboys' perspective is timing on their own perspective of who can they go out and sign with this money that they got, other than re-signing your own players, which the offensive line they need to start doing in the next year or two. So I guess maybe that would be it, but they've done a good job of maintaining that offensive line for the last 4 years. The way you keep that offensive line, obviously, is continue to pay them, and the contracts will start coming around again, and you're going to want to, I think both tackles will be up in the next year or two, so you want to extend those. I understand. But I know you love Dez. As a Cowboys fan, now where do they go? Now who's taking the double coverage away to make Cole Beasley the option? Witten's coming back, right? Because somebody was trying to tell me the other day that Witten's retiring. He's coming back, right?
I've heard nothing.
I've heard nothing about retirement, too. And I don't trust the source who was telling me, but I forgot to ask you earlier.
All
right, it's cool then. It's not, I just wanted to make sure. I feel like we would have...
That would really suck if that's the case.
I feel like... No, and they would have zero option then, because as I was explaining to this person, I was like, yo, I mean, Jason Witten is their best option. And like,
literally.
and like now that Dez is gone,
he's the only option.
I was like, I don't know anybody that's going to take away like a safety and
nobody.
That's going to make it harder for Dak.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing with Dez with me. One, I'm gonna be extremely petty because magically when we released him, all of a sudden it became a major story. It was everywhere. Everybody and a mom, all over my mentions, all over television, radio. Everybody was talking about, oh my God, Dez is gone. He got cut. This, that, and the third. And my petty ass immediately went to, but he sucks, quote unquote. We've been talking about it for the past, 2 years at least on here. Where everyone's
been down on him, yeah.
Right, he's not a top receiver. He's not this, down, and third. He sucks. He drops all the passes. So to me, my petty ass
that he's a top 10 receiver on this show.
Right, my petty ass immediately went to, well, if he was all that, what all of y'all said he was, then why is he in the conversation? That means Dallas Cowboys got rid of a overrated player then.
Right, yeah.
So they did the right thing allegedly. The thing is with him, when you look at his numbers, especially let's just go with this past year. Overall, compared to all the other wide receivers in the league, he had very low numbers. Like, in every category, very low. But like I brought up earlier, I don't know, let's say, I guess it was just after the season ended because I know I brought this up. He was, this year, the leading receiver. He had the most receptions for the Dallas Cowboys. He had the most yards for the Dallas Cowboys. He had the most touchdowns for the Dallas Cowboys. Cole Beasley, what you were saying, do they turn to that guy now? Honestly, I believe he was, I had it written down, he was 4th in receptions this year for the Cowboys.
Right.
It was
he had a bad year in comparison to the year before.
It was Dez, and then it was Witten, I believe.
Alan Hearns
Williams
and Cole Beasley are the only two I can name. So Williams, I forgot Williams.
I believe he was 3rd, and then it was Beasley at 4th. And Dez had 69 receptions. Beasley had 36.
Okay.
So there's a hell of a drop off for that year.
I forgot about I already forgot his name.
Terrence Williams.
Yeah, I forgot about Terrence Williams. I did. But
so I mean, in the grand scheme of the NFL, Dez Bryant, his numbers have been down, especially this past year. But for the Dallas Cowboys, this past year, in every category, he was number 1.
Okay,
so what does that say? Is it a Dez Bryant situation, or is it a Dak Prescott or play calling situation? Is it a personality situation?
I will maintain that he was generating the most coverage on that Cowboys offense. Defenses were zoning in on Dez. I still think steadfast that is why his numbers were where they were this season when he was fully healthy. And they were still, as you said, the best on the Dallas Cowboys. Right. He literally was getting the most attention from defenses. Him and Zeke get the most attention from defenses. Secondaries on him, linebackers on Zeke.
As much as
that's what makes Witten open anymore.
Yeah, that's right, because he's a slower man, and it just is what it is.
And he's going to catch the ball when he's there, but that's why you have him out there, is because everyone else is attracting things, and if you forget about him, he will still burn you. Witten still absolutely will burn you, because he catches everything thrown his way.
Could you give me a ballpark? How many times do you think Dez Bryant was targeted this past season? Give me a ballpark.
70.
70 times?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of those do you think he would have completed?
I think he caught 40 passes.
Okay, let me just blow your mind. Dez Bryant was actually targeted 132 times.
Okay.
Right.
He had 70 catches, right? 70 some catches.
69.
There you go. Yeah.
So 69 and 132.
Sorry, I was thinking averages.
And to everybody that gets on him, this is going to go with that. He only had a 52% completion percentage, which is abysmal. Part of that, you can say, is bad passes, but you can't blame 52% on the quarterback. Okay.
How many drops did he have? Do you know?
I don't know. But the point being, it's redundant. 69 of 132, regardless of how you look at it, he's got to take a lot of that blame as well. Is that a one-time thing? I think so. I don't think. I've been saying since day one that him and Dak.
Do you think they were trying to force it?
Him and Dak have not had that chemistry, and Dak did try to force it.
Do you think that's what those numbers are?
Not all of them.
No, not all of them. I'm saying, what do you think those numbers though reflect? 52%. Do you think he tried? Not all 52 or 48% incompletions were him trying to force it, but do you think some of them were him trying to force this? I mean,
there is a percentage of him forcing it. I can see it from game to game. It's real simple. I didn't see every single game, every single snap, every single throw thrown his way, but a lot of it was forced from Dak. a lot of it was, whether it was, short or behind Dez. Like, a lot of it was, but there's a majority of it you have to put on Dez Bryant, and I won't take that away from that situation. I have said that Dak and Dez have not been in sync. And this just goes to show, no matter the fact that Dez Bryant led every Cowboy in every category as far as a receiver is concerned, there's still this gap here, and you can't ignore it, whether you blame it on one person or the other. There's still this gap, and apparently that's where the Cowboys were at with this situation, and it sucks. Because I don't think this was the right decision. I think you keep a Dez Bryant in this situation. Jerry Jones, which, another point, a lot of people get on Jerry Jones. A lot of people say keep Dez. A lot of people say he needs to go, he needs to retire, he sucks, he's an idiot, he doesn't know what he's doing. But here's the thing. Dez Bryant flat out came out immediately and said, no, Jerry told me straight up, it was not Jerry's decision. Yeah. This is Stephen Jones. This is that little committee that the Cowboys have. It's the same committee that got rid of T.O. for no reason because he was a troublemaker, which never happened. I'm still waiting for that evidence, by the way. This same committee is now saying Dez Bryant can go. And the reason why... still up in the air. Nobody knows. There's no concrete reason. At least with T.O., there was a made-up reason of he was a troublemaker. That's fake. Right. Never happened. What did Dez do?
Dez has done everything well. So the reason that they let him go overall is because of the salary. And he said that he would take a pay cut. We'll get to the pay cut in a second if you want to. But my bigger thing is...
Yeah, we need to. That is the story. Because Jerry Jones said, I don't want you to have a pay cut. You don't deserve a pay cut.
Right. But
so that tells me if Jerry Jones is saying no, no, and no, that tells me Jerry Jones doesn't have the power.
Even so, they still should have came to him with a pay cut.
So everybody that gets on Jerry Jones...
Do you agree they should come to him with a pay cut?
No. Let him go. Let him go. If Jerry Jones says it's cool, then who am I to say?
Okay, I don't disagree, but I mean, if Jerry Jones is going to listen to the committee, and the committee's saying we have to do something about Dez Bryant, and Jerry Jones is saying I want to keep him, and the committee's saying get rid of him because his contract's too big for his numbers. Mm-hmm. At minimum,
apparently there wasn't no hat.
I know. Well, what I'm saying, at minimum, as a fan, wouldn't you have rather them try to come to him with a discount?
Obviously.
Wouldn't you think?
We don't know.
Not just as a fan. I'm trying to say, as a football perspective, wouldn't that be the better option here? Talking about the Dallas Cowboys as a football team, and we just talked about all those numbers that you wrote down. Nobody else on those teams, nobody else on the team led them in all those things other than Dez. So if you can come to him and you can get a discount for the player who led you in reception yards, and touchdowns, that sounds like a pretty decent thing to me.
Dez was #1 in every category.
That's the best.
Witten was pretty much #2 in the rest, and then it was a drastic drop.
So if you could take a discount from Dez, who is your #1 in all of those, that's actually the greatest football thing I've heard in a very long time. And the fact that he said he would do it, that's Tom Brady-like.
Well, I don't know if Dez said he would do it. He said that Jerry didn't want him to take the discount. I don't know if it was ever offered. Okay. I just know that Jerry Jones, according to Dez, Jerry said, I don't want to give you a discount. Basically, you don't deserve a discount. I want to keep paying you what I feel you're worth. So, again... So, to everybody that gets on Jerry and say, you make these dumb decisions, this is your fault, this, that, and the third, this one isn't on him. And it goes back to that point of, this is a committee situation. The Cowboys are not necessarily a Jerry Jones thing. He's the focal point. He's the figurehead. But the decisions are made by a committee. It's his son and whoever else is in this room with Jerry. Jerry has input and he has a big voice, but clearly not enough where you got 4, 5, 6 other dudes in the room saying, I say otherwise, and Jerry goes with that.
And I always tell you...
I don't think that's right. I think we should have went with Jerry. Jerry should have said, no, damn that, he's staying. Because, to your point, who do you go to now? Cole Beasley of 2 years ago? Oh, that was 2 years ago. Jason Witten? He's an old-ass man. Zeke? He can carry us. But Zeke isn't carrying you to a Super Bowl. He's not carrying you to 2 wins against the Eagles.
Few running backs are.
He's not carrying you against 2 wins against the Eagles. With the Dez Bryant, I like getting one of those.
Yeah, no, absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And now, like we were saying, as far as the free agents thing goes,
everyone's kind of gone.
Right, so now either we go to a rookie, which, who the hell, like, we don't need to get a rookie wide receiver.
Alan Hearns, who didn't really play all that well in Jacksonville, that'll break Blake Bortles was his quarterback. Blake Bortles was his quarterback, so I think he has a better chance to put up bigger numbers.
He'll do all right. He'll do better with Dez on the other side.
He would have done much better with Dez on the other side. Cole Beasley in the middle.
Sure.
Terrence Williams rotating with them.
Sure. Cool. Cool.
That actually does sound pretty lethal when you're talking about handing it off to Ezekiel Elliott.
You got options.
And you got Dak who can still run around with himself.
You got options at that point. Now, okay, so what? Do you lean on Zeke even more? Which you can't run a running back into the ground.
But you have already leaned on him a good amount. Yeah, it's hard to lean on him so much. I mean, he
don't give him the ball 30 times, God forbid. So then what do you go to after that? Do you go to old man Wen? Do you go to Cole Beasley 2 years ago? You hope he's that guy? Like,
we don't disagree. I completely agree with you. And
I guess you go with the Jacksonville guy and hoping he's the man, which we'll see.
I always tell you, in these situations, when it comes to cutting somebody over salary cap moves.
It wasn't that though. It wasn't that.
I know, but part of it had to be that. Part of it had to be his contract was so high.
I've been reading things. It's all hearsay at this point. I don't know if anything's been concrete at this point. Dez has been extra petty, so I mean, you can't really buy anything.
With the coaching staff, right?
I just been reading just Dallas things in general from all aspects, and it's looking like more so they just don't feel like he fits a Dak Prescott system, and it's just like if he leads every category in a Dak Prescott system a year ago, then that tells me he fit all right. Could have been better? Hell yes, it could have been better. Should have been better. You can blame whoever you want to blame in that situation, and they did. They blamed Dez. I blame Dak. Whatever. But that tells me that it can still work if he can still be number one.
Well, and like I said, when it comes to these situations with salary cap stuff, it's always, I said it during the DeMarco Murray thing, when the Eagles let him go, and you were saying how you didn't think that was the best move because of his talent.
Right.
Obviously, hindsight, they win the Super Bowl. They made a lot of moves along the way and got there. But what I was saying at that time is you have to just have a gut feeling on it. And the gut feeling to me was they overpaid him in the first place, and I just wanted all that salary to be gone. Dez, at minimum, DeMarco Murray was not leading them in every category, and he was also not their only running back. Dez led them in every category, and his salary, I don't think was...
You know what's wild? I just thought, I literally just thought about that. The fact that you're saying that the DeMarco Murray thing, we cut him because...
I was talking about the Eagles cut him. Remember when the Eagles cut him? That was our argument.
I understand.
Okay.
But, Jesus, we literally, however many years ago, it's been now 3. The Cowboys had that crossroads where it was, okay, do we pay Dez or do we pay DeMarco Murray? And we chose Dez Bryant. And we let DeMarco walk. Granted, we got Zeke. We lucked out, got Zeke.
Yeah.
But
now
you asked me 3 years ago, or either one of them not on the team, I'd say, maybe I'll give you one, but one of them's going to be there.
It's crazy.
And now we got 0, and we're talking about money. Like,
I'm not saying that
doesn't make any sense. And what's wild, you know,
the gut feeling would be not the right to say. I thought the gut feeling on the time with the DeMarco Murray thing, I was saying I supported the Eagles. I thought it was a good thing. I'm saying gut feeling on this one. I don't think this was the right move for the Cowboys.
It wasn't.
And only time ever tells. Only time ever tells with these things.
Sure. And okay, well, what's BS is this past year was his first year where he was back fully healthy. He played all 16 games. The year before, he wasn't playing the entire year. The year before that is when he really had that injury.
Romo was also
I think he played like 9 games that year. It wasn't until 2000. It was 2014.
Romo only played half of those games though.
Right. 2014, Dez Bryant had his best year. The past 2 seasons, Dez Bryant didn't play the entire year. He only played a small percentage of them. It was this past year where he finally got 16, and it was like, okay, could be better numbers.
They found a little bit of rhythm, though. Not a lot.
Right. They got enough that he became number 1 in all the categories.
Zeke was also out for 6 games.
Right. They never had a situation where Zeke, Dak, and Dez were all there for an entire season.
16 games, yeah.
That's wild. That's wasted potential.
That's a good big 3, too. I mean, when you're talking about Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. How many other teams are we looking at that have a 3-headed monster that's solid? I mean, honestly, it's not.
Plus, we're throwing Jason Witten in there. You might get a Cole Beasley.
Again,
that's a
that
solid foundation.
I mean, look at what the Eagles did, and who would have said beforehand that they were going to win the Super Bowl? So that combined talent could be a little bit of enough to give you that little bit of run. You get the right amount of defense throughout the season. I mean,
I don't like it. And you know what?
As an Eagles fan, I do like it, but I understand why Cowboys fans. I wouldn't like it if I was a Cowboys fan. I wouldn't agree with this one.
I might be done with the show. I might be done with football if Dez Bryant becomes an Eagle.
It's not happening. The Eagles are not interested in him. Eagles they don't have the cap room, and they said they don't really.
He wants to be in the NFC East.
He said he wants to be in the NFC East. The best landing.
He's not going to the Giants.
I read that all 3 teams weren't interested in him.
All 3 teams are stupid.
But that Washington would be like the only team that has the cap space for him, and I don't think he's going to Washington.
Bumped all the cap space. I immediately said, okay.
I think he wants to go somewhere where he's going to win.
I immediately went, Giants, no. Eli's trash. They already got 2 receivers, so no. Eagles, I mean, you just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You figure out a way if you're an Eagle, if you're the Eagles. But to me, I said since day one, the most realistic of the 3 was Washington.
Because
it's such a Dan Snyder situation.
Oh, yeah,
no,
absolutely.
Fuck the cap space. I'm thinking everything else. Just football-wise, just ownership and moves-wise, I said if he wants to win a Super Bowl in a division, obviously you just go with the guy that just won, which would be the Eagles.
But if you just want to play Dallas twice a year and get your numbers and not worry about winning, then Washington's place to go.
Right, easily. The Giants not even in the equation.
Agreed.
I don't know if he stays in the NFC East. He says
I don't think he's going to.
I hope not, because I don't want to have to burn this. I already had I should have burned the DeMarco Murray one. He can go anywhere in the NFC East as long as it's not the Eagles. But if he goes to the Eagles, I might just be done with the show. I might be done with football.
I don't think he's going to the Eagles.
I'm kind of not joking. I can't have that happen. I can't have that happen. The Eagles already won a damn Super Bowl. They already took DeMarco Murray from me. I can't have Dez Bryant go to the damn Eagles.
I don't think he's going to the Eagles.
Go to the damn Redskins.
Because I do like Dez. I do like Dez.
I'm going to laugh. Go there.
He's not going either.
I don't care. Everybody says, well, don't you hate them? Like, yeah, but I shrugged him off.
No,
like,
I hear you.
Whatever.
If he goes to the Eagles, to the Redskins, I just shrugged it off.
Right. But if he goes to the Eagles, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. And that's after DeMarco Murray. But Dez was a whole nother animal to me. Like,
other places that I came up with for him, right? Outside of the NFC East. Are you ready?
You come out with the ESPN list because their list was garbage.
I think the only team I had on their list that they had was New England. Did they have New England?
I don't know.
Okay, so my teams are New England, Carolina, Seattle, and the Niners.
Why would he go to Carolina or the Niners?
Because they don't have wide receiver in either of them.
Carolina has nothing other than Cam Newton, so why would he even go there? You talk about he wants to go on a Super Bowl.
He wants to go to a place where he at least can win. I don't know if he wants to win a Super Bowl, but look. I'm talking about teams.
Carolina could use him. I don't.
Baltimore is the only other team I think that has enough cap space that I thought could maybe make it work. But that's what I'm saying.
I don't know anything about cap space. I don't care. I'm just trying to think of just
Seattle. I think is the best option. I think Seattle and New England are the best options.
Well, then I guess I'm assuming they have both because they both cut everybody, or lost everybody.
Or Green Bay.
Yeah,
that's a lethal weapon as well.
Yeah, those are all teams that have lost half their roster, so I'm sure he can go there. And they got great quarterbacks, so sure.
You really don't think he would want to... I think that you could convince him. I don't know. I just always felt like Dez and Cam probably have a good relationship off the field. I feel like it's one of those D-Wade convincing Bosch to come down.
I'd root for it. I mean, if it happened, I'd root for it, even though I'm a Panthers hater and I hate Cam Newton. I'd root for that situation. That'd be a Steve Smith situation. I'd be like, okay, word. I hope y'all do well. But
yeah, I was just saying. So you don't see it happen.
I'd rather see him go to Seattle or definitely New England. But
could you see the Niners because they're?
I can't see him going to New England either.
I can't see him going to New England either. I'm just saying it would be a good fit for him.
I don't see Bill Belichick dealing with that situation.
No, I agree. I was just thinking it would be a good fit for him, and they don't have a receiver right now. Their 2 best receivers, other than their tight end, are gone. So
he goes to New England. He's going to sit on the bench because that's how Bill Belichick runs things.
I think it would be closer to an Ocho Cinco situation than it would be a Randy Moss with New England. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's a good way.
He shouldn't even waste his time. Don't go there.
Remember when Chad Johnson went there and sat the bench more than he played?
Don't go there. Don't go there. Dez, please don't go there.
I just don't. I don't know any other realistic options.
Go to Seattle. Go to Oakland.
Oakland has 2 good receivers though. They're not going after them.
They got a good receiver.
Jordy Nelson and Cooper. You don't think Cooper's a good receiver?
I forgot they got
Amari.
Cooper can go. Cooper can go. No. Yeah, Cooper can go.
Kansas City?
No.
Texans? Ooh, on the other side of DeAndre Hopkins?
Nah. You don't want to go to a worse situation. Let me put it that way.
Atlanta? I don't know if they have the cap space. I got it.
Julio, Dez.
I got it.
Who's the third one?
I got it.
Julio, Dez. Who's the third one?
Sanu. That wouldn't be bad.
Julio, Dez, and Sanu, and Matt Ryan.
With their running back Freeman?
That'd actually be fire.
I don't know if they have the cap space to do it, but you know who I really think is going to take him?
Shut up about cap space. We know. We're talking about football. We're just talking.
Saints. Drew Brees? Drew Brees!
He gets some my nerves with cap space.
Drew Brees. They have a great wide receiver.
Sure. I forget his name.
I forget his name too. I'm looking at him right now.
He's so great. We forgot his name.
Yeah.
J Sports sucks.
They also have Alvin Kamara, the running back.
I'm glad you were able to name him because I couldn't name a running back.
But you knew they had a good running back though.
No.
Oh,
but
could have at least faked that one.
No. I'd love to see him with Breezes. Yeah.
That'd be cool, right?
Just because I love Breezes. I love Dez. Yeah, I'd root for that. Yeah, I'd root for that.
I can't think of any other team that I could see him landing with that's
realistic. Well, like you said, I mean, the Cowboys fucked them basically. Like,
they put him in a very bad position.
They fucked themselves,
especially when you're talking
right?
about. And like I said, and as I also did say, if like even though I said the Eagles don't have the cap space, if the Eagles really wanted to make it work, they would figure out how to make the cap space work.
Okay, so ignore the cap space. Top 3 teams you would want to see him with.
Want to see him with?
Yeah.
If I take the Eagles out of it, I would go Seattle, Green Bay, and I guess the Saints. Even New England just keeps sticking in my head because I would love to see him with Brady, but I'm with you. I don't think Belichick. It's the Belichick. It's not him, right? If they if this was Madden and I was using the Patriots and I could pick up Des Bryant, then yes, we're talking. I'm talking them as my number 1 option, but. Realistically, I'm with you. Even if they do use it, I don't think they use it in the sense of the way they did Randy Moss. And I go on the sense of I would rather him with Aaron Rodgers, who is going to... Aaron Rodgers makes his receivers look better. Not that Brady doesn't, but that's why they don't play their Des Bryants and their Chad Johnsons, because they don't need to.
Petty.
Yes. It's system over player.
We don't need you.
It's system over player in New England.
We're going to see how far that works this year, too.
I mean, him with the Saints, as we said, would be just super incredible. And then, I honestly, man, Russell Wilson and him, that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, Seattle would be cool.
That'd be fun.
I'd probably say New Orleans number 1. I would love to see him and Breeze.
So,
number 2... I don't know, maybe Green Bay. I'd probably put Green Bay number 2. Number 3...
I'm having all NFC teams here, too.
Because there's no way in the AFC.
Denver?
Well, I said...
They can pay him.
Nobody wants to see that.
I don't want to see that, but I just think it pay
Like
him.
I said, I don't care if they can pay him. No, number 3, I don't know. For some reason, I can just see him in an Oakland Raiders jersey.
I mean, I can see him in a Raiders jersey. I just don't see it happening.
I can so see it. Would you get over that?
I don't see them going after a wide receiver with the 2 wide receivers they have.
They can get whatever, one of them. Is Des Bryant better than Jordan Nelson right now?
Yes.
Okay, so you can just cut Jordan Nelson.
Do you think he's better than Jordan Nelson right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so Cowboys should just trade the Packers for Jordan Nelson again, and then give Jordan Nelson to the Raiders and got like a draft pick or something. That'd be great.
So, 2 players who were really good retired, I want to get to them real fast. Nick Mangold, he was a center, long-time center for a very long time, like 12 years, I'm pretty sure. All pro for like 7. So, I mean, he's going to go down. He's going to be a first down. Huh?
For who?
The Jets. I forget who the last team he played for.
Nobody but him and his mother knows who he is.
Well, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's why I brought it up. An offensive lineman don't get brought up a whole lot, so I wanted to bring him up. He is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he had a great career. Also, Paul Posluszny retired, and it's not that I want to bring up Paul Posluszny retiring. He had one of my favorite quotes. He retired, and when he was asked why he retired, he said, it's not for the fear of retiring a year too early. It's the fear of retiring a play too late.
Adorable.
He literally is afraid that he's going to let down his teammates on one play that he doesn't think he has in him. No, I just think that is the ultimate football kind of quote to go out on. I thought that was pretty cool. Look.
Great.
I forget the guy who used to play with Mark Schlereth, and I'm pretty sure Wingo told it on Goal Wingo a couple times, but I've heard Mark Schlereth tell it on radio. He used to play next to the only guy who got the all-decade team in the 80s and the 90s. This guy was he was an offensive lineman. And after every single huddle, right, he would ask Stink, what is my assignment? Because he was so afraid of letting down the rest of the team. Like, the only thing that dude was afraid of was letting down the rest of the team and not doing his assignment. So Paul Posluszny saying that, it just always brings me back to that kind of moment. Like, it is such an ultimate team thing. Like, every sport that is a team sport has its ultimate team moments, but football is like, if one guy messes up, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just, I just love hearing quotes like that, because those guys literally, they fear nothing other than letting their teammates down. Like, they're not afraid of bashing their head into their other guys, but they're afraid of how their teammate is going to be upset about them messing up on one play in week 3. Like, it's a little ironic.
I'm glad you got into the psychology and the psyche of a NFL football player.
I just thought it was funny.
First ballot Hall of Famer. I never heard of him in a day in my life.
You never heard of Nick Mongold?
No, and why should I?
Because he was the first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a great center.
It says who? Did you know his name prior to him retiring?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
He had all those good years with the Jets. That's what he is the guy that Mark Sanchez ran into in the Butt Fumble. That's great. Nick Mangold.
Okay, so he should not be in Hall of Fame.
I hope he's not remembered for that.
I hope the bust is him with the ball bouncing off his ass. I hope that's the bust. Just his ass. I hope it's the ass with the fumble coming off of it. I now know who that guy is. Right.
53?
The white guy.
Yes. With a beard.
Correct. In green and white.
So
with the ball coming off his ass. Got it.
Do you want to talk about what happened in Seattle last week, or do you want me to move on?
Probably not.
All right, let's move on then. We're done with football. Moving on to hockey. The Philadelphia Flyers will run out of games if they continue to play this every other game thing. Like, they lost game 1 by a lot, but then they won game 2 by a lot, but then they lost game 3 by a lot. So if they win game 4 by a lot, they'll lose game 5 by a lot, but then they'll win game 6 by a lot. But that has them losing game 7, and then they lose 4, and then the series is over because there is no game 8.
Nobody has any idea what you just said, but that just goes hand in hand with my whole Philadelphia thing. The whole, let's go, and we got it, yeah, did you see our W? Then we lose, and it's embarrassing, except it was the other way around. Yeah, shut out.
Yeah, it was
embarrassing.
Mm.
Then you won, it was like, ooh.
That was pretty nice, yeah, it was
embarrassing again.
Yeah, it got a little rough.
Right. Because the Penguins own y'all.
So the weirdest thing is, this season the Penguins do, yeah? Before this, well, that's a whole weird thing. The Penguins don't own the Flyers, but the Penguins are the ones who win the Cups. So I'm a Flyers fan who will admit that they have the championships, and it doesn't matter what the record is. But if you talk to some other Flyers fans, they'll give you the exact record. I don't know what the record is.
Typical Philadelphia person.
I honestly don't know what the record is since Crosby's been in the league. But I do know that the Flyers have owned them, even though Crosby has owned the Flyers in points. Like, Crosby has like a ridiculous amount of points against Flyers and a ridiculous amount of...
Who's winning right now in this series?
It's 2-1. I mean...
That's why Philadelphia fans get on my nerves.
I don't think the Flyers are going to win.
They will pull some random ass numbers to the T, and it's just like,
I don't think the Flyers are going to win the series. I didn't think the Flyers were going to win the series in the first place. I'm not going to sit here and admit that.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying all you Philadelphia people in general that be throwing out these random numbers and stats and info that nobody cares about is irrelevant to the grand scheme of who is dominating.
Oh, he's got the championships. Who has the championships?
Whoa, there it is.
Crosby has the championships.
Whoop, there it is.
So, and that's why it doesn't matter. I'll be the first Flyers fan to tell you it really does not matter what happened in all those series.
But then stop being on Twitter.
Again, I still got to troll the Penguins and Sidney Crosby.
Troll, though. He doesn't troll. You should see how dead serious this man is on Twitter, because I do.
Now.
Makes me want to delete Twitter. And there was another reason I wanted to delete Twitter. I'm sure we'll talk about it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why you chuckled.
Yeah, I do.
Right. Because I got to roast that for 5 seconds. How stupid that is. Go ahead.
Try not to get the Beehive on us.
Fuck the Beehive. The Beehive.
Don't say that. But we'll get into that. My question to you about...
Is that really what they're called, by the way? Because I said it as a joke on Twitter. The Beehive.
Yeah.
Is that really what they're called?
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, carry on. I said that as a joke.
That's your favorite.
I said that as a hat Beehive.
Like, you know how Bieber has the Believers? Or the
Right, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the Beehive for Beyonce.
Okay.
I get down with the Beehive. Okay. Not with all their opinions, but I get down with the Beehive.
Because now that we brought it up,
it's just like Kaepernick. I don't get down with all his opinions, but I get down with Kaepernick.
The Beehive.
back to the NHL real fast.
Sure. Please, bro.
I don't have my Flyers winning. We can go into a Flyers discussion another time. I've talked about it last year about how I feel about them, so I don't really think we have to get into it. If you want to know, we can talk about it another time. Vegas.
Sure, let us know in the comment section because that's what y'all do. Let us know.
Vegas is up 2-1 in their series, and it's just been really cool to see them win those first 2 games and the way they won those first 2 games in Vegas. It was awesome. The rest of the NHL playoffs, the Caps are doing what the Caps usually do, blowing leads as the top seed. So there's a lot of great things happening in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure Boston's up 2-1 on Toronto.
What was your official picks?
Who did I pick?
I don't remember.
I'm
pretty sure you did. I just don't
Did I make official picks? I said anybody but the Penguins.
I don't remember. I thought you did. I was just curious where they stood at this point. Whatever, he did it.
I was gonna say I don't think I made a Stanley Cup prediction. I mean, I don't know. Out the West, you would have to say either San Jose or Las Vegas, and that's not just based off of what they've done in the playoffs. Even though I'm pretty sure San Jose is up 3-0 in their series, but I'm not just basing this off the playoffs. San Jose was for the first year in a couple years because they used to be really good every year, but then lose like they'd be a top 2 or 3 seed in the playoffs, but then they would lose in the first or second round.
Like the Raptors, right?
This is the first year, but then they went away for about 3 or 4 years, like where they just weren't really in the play. They were in the playoffs, but like they were at the lower end of it. But then this year they actually just out of nowhere burst on top seed in the West or the second. I think they might be the second seed in the West, but either way, they're one of the top seeds, and they're playing like it in their first series. I would say one of those teams, and then I'm biased against every team in the East left outside of the Flyers because they've had some kind of weird history with all of them. Oh my God. I don't know who the best team in the East is, honestly. I mean, I would hate to say Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh looks really good against the Flyers at times, but I don't know. Pittsburgh has the most star power for sure, but I mean, man, if you're going to go goaltending, you'd have to go with Toronto, even though they're down 2-1 in their series. And that's the weird thing is, like, there's no way to predict the NHL playoffs.
So who you got? Because I'm hearing a whole lot, I would.
I'll take the Lightning out of the East, and out of the East, and out of the West, I'll take San Jose. And I'll take San Jose to win the Cup.
All right. Word.
Even though Lightning probably are going to have their hands full in the first round here with the Devils. I think they're up 2-1 in that series. It's been fun. I've watched bits and pieces, not a whole lot of full games other than the Flyers game because I've been trying to catch a bunch of the basketball and the hockey. And I've even kept my eye on the Phillies somehow.
Of course you did. You found time for that, but not the hockey.
No, I watch hockey. I watched more hockey and basketball than I have the Phillies, but I've kept my eye on the Phillies.
Of course you have.
The things I've watched fully, though, were the Sixers and Flyers for sure. That's my squads, yeah. Before we get to WWE, do you want to talk about the Beehive?
Man, oh my goodness.
It wasn't necessarily the Beehive.
Oh my goodness.
It was Chance the Rapper.
Yes, it was.
He fueled
it. It was both of them.
He fueled it.
He was number 1. They were number 2. And I was just, like, I ignored the effort. Okay.
He lit the fire.
For those who have no clue what we're talking about right now.
They kept the fire going.
We're talking about beehives and shit.
I like Chance the Rapper. And I like Beyounce.
Okay, so what's that dumbass event called that's overrated? Coachella, right. There was that big event, which apparently is a really big event, and I'm just talking shit about it being overrated and shit. But there was that event that happened over the weekend. Apparently she had, and I saw a clip of it, and I saw a clip with her and Jay-Z. People are saying it's the greatest, apparently they're saying this is the greatest performance they've ever seen in their lives. Not just her, but, just overall. Like, this is the greatest performance of all time. One of those people being Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper is younger than us.
I can't even say.
Chance the Rapper is only 22 years old.
It's irrelevant. I can't even say this with a straight face. But this guy named Chance the Rapper, who everybody respects so much, and he's so good, and he's ignore everybody else, but listen to and pay attention to Chance the Rapper is all I've been hearing for the past 2 years. But whatever.
He's had some pretty good ideas.
Yeah, right. Yep. But then he done fucked up.
He said something really dumb on Twitter.
Then he said something extremely stupid and moronic and short
he said Beyoncé is the greatest entertainer of all time.
Can you run that by me one more again?
He said Beyonce is the greatest entertainer of all time.
He said on Twitter,
he thinks Beyonce is the greatest entertainer of all time.
Is the greatest entertainer.
That's what he believes, yes.
Of all time, because he saw it with his own eyes.
Yeah, he saw it one time, right. I don't know, he might saw Beyonce a couple more times, but he saw that performance. And
he saw it with his own
eyes.
That's
what he determined as what made her the greatest performer of all time.
Beyonce is the greatest performer of all time. Now, I understand you're a big Beyonce fan, and that's fine and dandy. But I need to ask you, in all seriousness, let's go 3. That's logical, considering I can envision who you would select. Is she in that top 3 of greatest entertainer?
No.
That you've seen.
Not
even in person. I'm talking just like...
Yeah. Okay, let me put it this way. She is very impactful, and her live stage presence is where she has her most, but I don't think that... Man, I don't know.
That's my problem with the situation.
I don't think that she is...
That's my problem with the situation. Right, the fact that you have to think about it tells me no.
I don't think she's the greatest of all time, but I think she could be top 3. I think she has an argument for top 3. Can I put it that way?
That's more acceptable, I guess. I still shrug it off and
I don't know if I put her in the top 3, but I think there's an argument for her in there. She is.
You know what? Okay.
Her performances are extremely well. Like they are absolutely
great.
Yes, I think and what she did at Coachella, I watched not all of it, but I watched a decent amount of it, and it was fantastic and phenomenal, and it was groundbreaking compared to what other people are doing right now. But all time,
what's groundbreaking about it?
I mean. So
this is my biggest thing with her, is that, and I don't hate her, I don't dislike her or anything. I think
she waves her finger and people overreact.
Right.
Good and bad.
Right.
Good and bad.
My big thing with her is, what has she innovated? Name a thing that she innovated.
Well, I don't think she innovated anything.
So how does that make you the greatest at anything if you have not innovated a single thing in your genre?
I would think that the only thing she's doing is that she is just big and better than the people that are doing it now.
And I could disagree and name at least 2 off the top of my head immediately.
Bigger and better than her?
Yes.
Live?
Yes. Bruno?
I think Bruno is really good live. I don't know if he's better than her live.
He's a better performer. He's a better dancer. And this was... Even if you disagree with that, that's fine. Okay, let's ignore that. Fine, that's fine. My thing is, with her...
She got some moves, bro.
That's fine. You know who I see do those exact same moves and have been doing it for 10 years prior to her? And I see it every single week because she puts it on her Instagram. She does it in Vegas because she has a live show in Vegas. Jennifer Lopez is the same damn thing.
Her stage presence isn't as... She can't wave her arm and just have the crowd do the same thing.
Depends what community you look at. 1. 2, it's this... Okay, so...
I'll be honest with you. And
her waving her arm and getting a reaction doesn't mean you're the greater. Doesn't mean you're greater.
And I really like J-Lo. This isn't just like...
J-Lo's a better performer.
No, I don't. I honestly think that... I think 9 out of 10 people would disagree with you. I think she's a good performer, but I don't think that she's ever...
9 out of 10 people have any idea what J-Lo does, especially today. She's so much better today. She is very much... They both do a very similar act these days, honestly. It's very, very similar.
I mean, Beyonce's been
They both got 200 fucking people behind them, which apparently that makes you impressive, and which I'm like, no, I'm focused on you. I'm not worried about. And, you flip your hair. That's cute. Okay, all these females do that. So this was my thing with her, with Beyonce, is that outside of what those 2 things I just named, you have 100 people behind you, mazel, and you can flip your hair. What do you do that's different? I don't see it personally. What does she do on stage that makes her the greatest? It makes her an innovator. It makes her better than anybody else. I don't see it.
I don't know.
Other than she's dating Jay-Z.
I don't
know. It has
how
nothing to do with you.
When I went to the concert, honestly,
it was great.
I had 0 expectations going into. I thought it was gonna be good. It was 10 times better than.
Right. Of course it was.
I've been to a lot of concerts away, and her stage presence was better than. I mean, I've seen some of the greats. Like, her stage presence... Now, again, she is coached by as you just said, Jay-Z. I don't think there is a Beyonce without Jay-Z, so this is a whole separate argument and conversation. But I think the reason that she is the way that she is, and she has the stage presence she has, and she has the fan base and popularity she has, is because of what he has molded her into as an artist. But back to your entertainer question, I would say no because...
the real issue.
Because I would say no on the top 3 only because I think that a good amount of her music is produced from her husband.
What does that have to do with it?
A lot of Michael's stuff was...
Which is the overall issue.
He was involved with it, at least, at minimum. Even if he didn't write everything, he was still involved. But I don't think that she was... I don't even think she wrote the album about her cheating on him. I think Jay-Z wrote that album.
What does that have to do with that?
Because her lyrics are not that strong. I'm a lyric person. Her lyrics aren't super strong other than for half of her songs. And those are ones that clearly aren't written by her.
The big issue with Chance making this statement about she's the greatest entertainer of all time is obviously... most people, the majority of people, a lot of people will say Michael Jackson's number 1, and which is why I tilted my head in a situation. I was like, he has to be trolling.
Well, I think Michael's number 1, yeah.
Okay, so do you think he's? Let's just break it down. Do you think he's a better vocalist than Beyonce?
Vocalist? I think that is that's a pretty tough question. I think they both are I think they both. If you're going 5 stars, I'd give them both 5 stars.
Okay, fine. Do you think Beyonce is a better dancer?
No, I think she's 4.5. He's definitely 5 though. He'd be 6 if you go on a 5. Going on a 5-star scale.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? So
she is a very good dancer. I think she is almost as good as it gets for a dancer. But again, he's just like she's out of this world. He's out of the galaxy.
Correct. I'll go with that. So impact, power.
If he lived in the Twitter generation, he'd be 10 times bigger than her.
Global reception and acceptance and appreciation.
If he lived in the Twitter generation, I think he would be bigger than her. I don't think there's a question.
So
she's the top 3 biggest person in the world right now, right? Like you got to put Lionel Messi, her. I'm talking globally.
I don't know. Messi and then her. I don't know about. I'm with you with Messi. I don't know if she's number...
I think she's a top 3 most famous person. Most famous people in the world right now. And then I would say maybe like Prince Harry or one of them.
Maybe.
She's got to be in the conversation though, yes? That's my point.
That's around there.
Okay, that's my point. Top 10, top 5. She's top 5 most famous people.
Yeah.
She's more popular than Jay-Z. Like that's my point. Is she's... When you think of American music right now outside of America, I think a lot of them do think Beyonce.
Sure.
My biggest point is if Michael Jackson was alive during this era, Twitter era, he would be the most popular person. He would have the most followers. Like, I think she has the most followers on Twitter. He would have the most followers.
Here's the thing. Like, okay, there's a million ways I could break this down and explain why not only Chance the Rapper is wrong, and then I need to explain just real quickly about why it wasn't just him that I was talking about. But this, like, do people understand that I look at it from the perspective of, okay, let's just reverse this. Do we think when Beyonce's time is up, do we think that she's going to be listed as one of those, like Michael and let's say, I don't know, throw names out there.
Prince.
Prince. Like, you're going to name her. Are you going to name...
Elvis.
No. The answer's going to be no. Or you're going to say impactful. Well, not necessarily. Maybe in this generation.
I was just going to say, so to be honest with you...
Is there going to be a whole...
This conversation goes in a different direction because of her popularity. Like, I think she'll end up in that category, but I think it has more to do with popularity in that category. She's going to be...
This has to do with legacy now, because now I'm talking about, does the entire world shut down because she passes away? Does Google get shut down? Does she get a whole scholarship named after her? Like, there's so many accolades I could name that she won't touch, which is why I'm just like, why we even have these two in the same conversation? She's great. He's the greatest. She's great. I don't want to take that away from her.
Honestly, and
but
look,
why are we even comparing them?
And even if you disagree with that, honestly, I hear people on the argument that since him, she's probably the best entertainer. Like that's
Man, we disrespect Bruno. That's wild to me because to me, it's him.
I mean, I personally think Beyonce is a better entertainer than him, but I mean,
I think he's got better music. I think he's a way better dancer.
I really want to see him, and that's the thing is where when you start talking about it, when it comes to music, it's subjective. Like,
sure, so is dancing.
Right. No, I agree with that. But I also think that they are both when you're talking about music. Like, I like Bruno a whole lot. So, like, if you're going 5 stars out of 5 stars, I don't know if I can give one of them higher than the other when you're talking vocals and dancing and things like that because I find them both a lot. I want to see Bruno. I've seen Beyonce. I'm hopefully going to see her again this summer with Hova. I want to see Bruno one day because I really he's playing in Philly this coming right in the beginning of winter, if I'm not mistaken. So like I don't know if I'm going to be able to see him, but I really like him as well. I don't know. I mean, I think Beyonce. Look, she is going to be a beneficiary of the Twitter age. She is so impactful.
Sure.
And the other thing I wanted to say, you were talking about the 20 people behind her. I don't know about J-Lo. I know she's in Vegas like every night, so there's probably hired dancers. The ones that were behind Beyonce, she actually started some kind of scholarship fund for girls like going to some dancing arts thing. Awesome. And they were all girls who got scholarships to things and graduated or whatever. So
that's excellent.
That in particular in and of itself. That's another thing I want to say about Beyonce. Beyonce outside of music is as impactful on the world than she is on...
Okay, I thought you were going somewhere else. Okay. Go ahead.
Than she is like music-wise, all right, sure, she has her stuff there, and people, she can say I slay, and then it'll be on T-shirts everywhere the next day. Like, I understand that. She has the Drake and Jay-Z effect where she can just drop a line and will go forever. But what she does with girls like that from inner cities, or what she does with third world countries and things like that, that is where she's trying to leave more of her legacy off of it, and that's where I think the Beehive more defends her in things than when it comes to situations like this. But then when situations like this arise, they will come right to her defense, and they do.
They go, wow.
And I agree with you. They go too far. They go way too far.
Which is why I was saying it wasn't just a chance situation, because the number one comment was, it wasn't even somebody like really being triggered by it. It was literally just, okay, they were like, let's not forget about Michael. That was literally the comment. Let's not forget about Michael. And okay, the comment right after that, which was a response to that, was, and I was just like, oh, really at this point? they were like, oh, well, he's dead. He's been dead. Get over it. And I was like,
no.
What?
That's not how that goes.
I was like, wait, number one, what does that have to do with this conversation?
Michael's retired, but you still talk about him as the greatest basketball player when you have the conversation of greatest of all time.
Right. Jordan, right. Like, you don't just... I don't know, like the whole situation just irritated the shit out of me. Like, you can't say, if Chance the Rapper would have said she's one of the greatest of all time, or she's the greatest I've ever seen personally, okay, cool, that's cool. Everybody would have understood that and went with that. The fact that he flat out said it as a statement, as a fact, that she is the greatest is what threw people in a loop. And Michael Jackson fans was like, wait, what are you talking about? This is a million reasons why that's not the case. And then you had some of these Beehive making ignorant comments. Then you had some of Michael's fans making ignorant comments. And it just kept going back and forth. It just got way out of control at that point. Then you had people making false statements, which this is what really irritated me. It was people saying, well, Michael just lip-synced all his tours, which that's fake. That's not true at all, but whatever. I'm not going to go there. They were saying that he was just irrelevant in his later years, which, again, is irrelevant. You name an artist who says who was their biggest influence, who was their greatest of all time, and they all say him. I don't know who's going to say Beyonce. I'm sorry. I mean, eventually there might be a point where people will be saying that. I just don't know if it's going to happen. And I just don't think, as much as she is impactful, okay, let's say she's the most impactful artist today, okay? That's fine. She's the most famous. She's the most impactful today. I just don't know if longevity-wise, she goes down anywhere near the history books that he went down. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the same. She could be number 2, and okay, let's say she's number 2. It's going to be a hell of a distant 2.
Yeah, I don't know if she's... like I said, since him, I don't know if she's number 2 all time. I just meant since his peak, I don't know if I've ever seen... I don't know in our lifetime, right, because I wasn't alive for his peak, obviously, or if I was too young for it. But since I can recollect, I don't know anybody who has had
his peak went away when he died.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay, for sure. But... When she has it rolling at her highest with the last couple years, I don't know if I've seen anybody more influential with what we have, like social media and all that kind of stuff. She puts one thing on social media and it's the biggest thing for 3 days. If he was alive and he did something social media, it would be big for a week. So I'm not disagreeing like he would, but she has the benefit of that. Also, and you're not one of these people that throughout this argument you haven't really done that. But there's a lot of people who in the argument of Beyonce, because of how pushed it is behind her on the overrated side, a lot of people underrate her then because of how much she's overrated, to try to bring that influx back over. There's a lot of people, like the Beatles, there's a lot of people who don't give the Beatles the credit they get. When I was younger, I did not give the Beatles the credit they deserve because they are technically an overrated band, but they have good music. I was just petty and thought that they're just not as good as everyone says. Beyonce, I find, is the same way, where there's a lot of people who don't mind Beyonce's music, but they all will kind of be like, I don't really like her all that much. It's more because of the way she's perceived than it is the actual music behind it.
Well, personally, I'm talking strictly music.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some songs I mess with, but a lot of them, I'm good. But I mean,
Beyonce's also not talking to you and I in a lot of her songs.
Right? Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, she's good. She has an audience. I just don't think it's comparable. Not only as entertainment wise, I don't think musically wise. I just don't think history wise. I don't think it's going to be comparable. I think they're just going to be on two different levels. And to your point, these are two different freaking eras. Like you really, you in a sense you can't compare it, but.
Well, no, it's okay. I think you can compare it. I was just saying that I was just saying the benefits and the not benefits for her. One last thing.
I just don't get it, man. It's whack. So, Chance the Rapper, shut up. Beehive, at least be educated in what you're talking about. Because, like I said, I can go on for another 45 minutes just talking straight by myself about all the things that I saw that was not even factual. And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But just at least be accurate with what the hell you're saying. Just saying. You can believe she's the greatest, fine, whatever. But, fine. But at least, if
I know what
and that's fine as well. But at least if you're gonna, say he's not, at least say factual reasons why he's not. Don't make up shit like he doesn't sing. He never sang live. He sang live for 25 years, and then he kept doing it even after. I can go on a whole tangent even more about that.
Should we tease the WWE stuff for next week? Yeah. I thought the GOAT was going to wrestle. We'll talk about that next week. My favorite wrestler currently, Chris Jericho, was coming back, but now we're not sure about that.
Were we talking about Rusev Day? The greatest Royal Rumble of all time on Rusev Day? That's actually next Friday. You know that, bro?
The 20th or the 26th?
Pretty sure it's next week.
The 20th?
Pretty sure.
I
could be wrong, but
I'll
I'm
have
pretty
to watch it after I get off work.
It's going to be at 12 o'clock on a Friday.
I know, I'll be working.
So I'll be watching it. It's going to be like an 8-hour event. Dude, I don't know how long this is. This is freaking ridiculous. You know what's funny, real quick side note? They actually can have it. WWE's been all, women's revolution, women's. In that country, Saudi Arabia, they're not allowed to compete. There's going to be 0 women's matches.
They're not allowed to wrestle.
No. Because in that country, it's illegal to have females compete in sport. So there will be no female representation by WWE.
We should probably not go to that country then. Until they change this rule.
We're the WWE, and
could you imagine if they didn't let black people?
We're at the forefront of this.
Could you imagine if they didn't let black people wrestle in that country, or
women's empowerment, the first women's everything,
or
everything,
people,
everything,
or white Jewish people? Could you imagine if they didn't let white Jewish people wrestle? Because those are things that happened in the history of the world.
Right. This is the first women's everything in WWE the past year. The women's revolution. You may not show up at this event in Saudi Arabia. I was wondering because at one point I was like, man, I feel like there's been just so many matches and I'm seeing so much and I've seen no women's, and then I found out that no, that's why. That's the legit reason. It's illegal for them to compete in sport. Even though it's not a real sport, it's fake. So what are we talking about? I thought it was fake. It's not real. So what are we talking about? It's not a sport. This is fake. It's TV. I'm confused. Yo, I am confused. Is this a sport or no? Why is WWE in Saudi Arabia? Why are they so pro-women, pro-this, but then...
I'll be honest with you, that bothers me a whole lot.
Isn't that some shit?
That bothers me a whole lot.
We got a whole conversation to have next week.
Oh, yeah, that's...
right?
That's suspect.
On WWE, not even just Saudi Arabia.
No. Well, it's suspect on Saudi Arabia. That's a different conversation for a different day. This is a suspect on WWE, what we're going to talk about.
Right, that is so...
That's a good tease right there.
Are you kidding me?
We'll also talk about...
You hypocrite?
Not only will we talk about that being a problem, we'll talk about how they handled the actual matches at this event that we have now an issue with. So, Dwight, this will be fun. I'm excited to talk about more NHL playoffs. Hopefully the Flyers are still in it at that point. We'll talk about some NBA playoffs. Hopefully my Sixers are still in it. Maybe the Cavs won't. Dwight would be happy if that happened.
Hopefully hopefully the Eagles don't sign Dez and I have to be done with sports. That'd be great.
We'll have to talk about a little bit of the draft next week, even though outside of the quarterbacks and Saquon Barkley, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know anybody. So
shit, when is the draft? 2 weeks?
It's next week. Fuck. It's the 26th. This week's Friday the 20th, the 26th is the Friday after. So it's the 25th is the first day of the draft, Thursday night. So we have a lot to get into next week. Thank you for watching JD Sports. I'm Jared Will. That's White.